Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to AMD Presents the Esports Club Showdown in association with Red Bull. My name is Salty, and with me I've got Real CCV to discuss today's amazing set of games. We have an interesting matchup today on the CCV. It's going to be Enigma versus Bleed. Now, we saw Enigma play against XCD Esports yesterday. It's going to be a consecutive match day for them. And to be honest, it's going to be a really tough upper bracket fight. What are your thoughts, man?
Honestly, with an international team that we haven't seen at all play against South Asian teams, teams from the Indian subcontinent, any matchup is going to be A, unexpected, B, interesting, and C, intriguing. That is why
Yeah,
I'm really excited for. All over, I mean, we can have a look at the brackets as well. We can have a look at all over the entire set of matches,
yeah.
not to mention the set of teams that have been invited. Again, this is an invite only tournament. You've got to be in the upper echelon of your region, representing your countries for a lot of them. And as we can see that right now, it's going to be the second matchup of the upper brackets: Bleed Esports versus Enigma. And then later on in the evening, we've got Louvre versus Velocity Gaming. I know plenty of people will be excited for that. But for now,
Yeah.
let's focus on the present. For now, let's focus on Bleed versus Enigma and how they'll be playing against the winners of Alter Ego against Global. Because honestly, just look at the teams. Every single one of these teams, I'm sure everyone watching has heard their names, and I am very sure, very certain that they want to see these teams play against each other right in front of them here at the showdown.
Absolutely, man. I mean, if you really talk about the games that has happened in the past right now, Enigma against Exili, I was casting the game and it really went down the wire, to be honest. We expected Enigma to kind of be the top dogs in that one. Exili again coming in from a region that didn't really have a lot of international exposure, I would say. Before that one, they played really well. I believe that they put up a really great fight. It was like neck and neck. Even if the scoreline suggests it's a 2-0 victory, I would say both the matches went down the wire. It was like a blow for blow competition. But up against Bleed Esports, I'm not really sure if Enigma have their guns locked and loaded, because it's going to be a little difficult, CCV, because you look at this in Bleed, they as a team have achieved so much in the past. Enigma, if you talk about it, they've been through a couple of roster changes. Even though the lineup has settled down a bit, I feel like this is probably one of their first international exposure tournaments, which basically means that they're going to be up against teams who have been playing for some time against, just like you mentioned, regions which are much more competitive. You talk about Paper X, you talk about all the other SEA teams out there, you talk about Alter Ego, they generally play with them, right? And definitely there is going to be a lot of theory crafting along the line. But before that, we're going to have a look at the map veto, ladies and gentlemen. We have three maps, three battlegrounds right in front of us. A very interesting map pick, to say the very least, CCV. We've got
Yeah.
Ascent that has been picked up by Bleed Esports and Enigma. They're pretty good on Ascent. We know that. We know that their defensive lineup on this map is pretty strong, and Bleed Esports, they've got to be at their best to break that fort. But talking about Enigma's map pick, it's Split, which I'm not really sure what Enigma is thinking at the moment. They aren't really the best on this map, but yeah, for sure, considering that they have picked up this map, I'm pretty sure they have got some strategies lined up. Also, for the people who are not really sure, Split is one of their best maps, in fact. So if they can get a scent by any chance, I'm pretty sure this can actually go to a 2-0 victory for Bleed. If not, Team Enigma can actually do some wonders on the map of Ascent and on the map of Split. But next up on the
Yeah.
decider, we have got Icebox, which again is not really Bleed's home turf, but for Enigma, it's probably, I would say, like the home away from home. They love the map of Icebox. What are your thoughts, EZB? What do you think about this map, Vito?
Look, honestly, Icebox is a big shout for now. First, we've got to deal with the first two, like the
Yeah.
initial two maps. And that's where, like, the confusion lies for almost everyone watching. I'm very certain the teams must have had some reason why they have gone for these two maps and why they've chosen the maps in which their opponents are the ones who are most experienced, contrary to how, usually you would pick a map where your team and you are the ones who have the most amount of experience. But in this case, yeah, like you said about Ascent, one of, if not the highest played map of Enigma in a competitive tier all over Valorant. And
Yeah.
here, Bleed have chosen it. Similarly, alongside Split, Split is Enigma's, like, statistically, it's one of their lesser played maps on the, with the exception of, like, with the exception of Fracture, that's all. They've played Breeze more times than Enigma have played Split, but Enigma have found recent success on Split that we will keep on talking about as the best of three moves on and on. For now, Ascent is still going to be the talk of the town. We are all going to focus ourselves on Ascent, as we'll be jumping in very shortly. I know everyone can't wait to see Enigma. I know everyone can't wait to see Can't wait to see, Bleed, and I know everyone can't wait to see them pitting against each other, playing for the spot and for moving further into the upper brackets. And while one of them, unfortunately, will go down to the pits of hell. But for now, still, Ascent, it's going to be about the compositions. It's going to be about the playstyle more. So we are going to see double duelist. I think for the side of Enigma, there may be a chance they may not pick double duelist. Enigma are always known to prefer the double controller Astra Viper composition more. But on a map like Ascent, I think double duelist may just be the way to go because of how the map is shaped.
Yeah, pretty. I think I've got to agree with you over there because double duelist. You look at the composition, you probably think like you can match up a Jet with a Razor, a Jet with the Reyna. We haven't really seen a lot of Phoenix, especially after VLT kind of threw that down the trash can. Initially, Phoenix used to be a very well picked agent on this map itself, but right now I'm pretty sure that there might be a Raze and a Jet. But just like you mentioned, double duelist should be the name of the game on this map, and agent selection is going to be on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, right now. And right off the bat, we have some interesting, we have some interesting stuff going on right now. Frosty is actually hovering over Chamber, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, if you haven't updated your game, Chamber is live. It is in your game right now, so go and experience it. But just like we talked about, we have a double controller setup being hinted right now. We have got a Jet on Frosty. I'm pretty sure he's going to play the Jet. He is like a cracked duelist for the team. We have got Chrysania, who is going to play the default Omen, the default controller. But then Benaf is still considering differences.
Oh.
A final pick on Reyna. So we've got a Jet and a Reyna composition, not really something to fret about. I'm pretty sure if Benaf as well as Frosties, if they are on the top of their game right now, they can cause a lot of damage. Jarpix will be the default, so no surprise there. And Lexi will be the KJ, the player who actually controls the backline. On the other camp, we have Enigma with RVK on KJ, no surprise. Raw Fuel, once again, a cracked Jet. It's going to be a really good Jet versus Jet competition. Antidote on Astra, no surprise there. Hika might actually pick up the sky. Now, this is exactly what I thought might happen. Enigma always love to go for their defaults, which is basically double controller setup. They love their double controller, especially Hika and his flashes can do a lot of damage. And on the map of Ascent, I guess that information, that extra bit of information that you get with the dog, the tiger, whatever you want to call it, I'm pretty sure you can actually do a lot with that information as well. We'll have a look at the first team. Ladies and gentlemen, which teams are competing, but let's have a look at the lineup. First up, we've got Enigma Gaming, one of the best teams from the country that we've got to present to you. Of course, you know all these players right in front of your screens. It's Hika, Rexy, Antidote. We've got RVK, and finally, we've got Raw Fuel. Of course, the man on the right-hand side, the extreme right-hand side, might actually snatch all your attention because he is one of those players who can cause destruction in the server and cause havoc in the map that he's playing on. But of course, with the live leader of Antidote, I'm pretty sure he is going to have a very strong backup. We'll move on and watch the other team that is in the competition right now, Bleed Esports. CCV, just walk us through it.
I mean, Bleed Esports, the amount of Southeast Asian tournaments they've played plenty of them. And now the thing is, heading into South Asia, we don't completely know what to expect from them. Do they know what we should expect from them? Do they have their standards? We surely can't underestimate them. Lexi, First Love, Jarpix, Frosty right now on the Jet. Yeah, you mentioned Raw Fuel. I'm going to talk about Frosty. Jet versus Jet, it always is a banger. And I think this one as well is going to live up to the hype. And the person on the far right is going to be Chrysania. So that completes the Bleed Esports roster. They've found a bit of success. They've played against high-name teams from Singapore, Indonesia, and such countries towards the southeastern side of Asia. But now, yet again, they face off against Enigma Gaming, and they will be facing off against them very, very shortly. We'll be jumping into the pistol round in a matter of seconds. And yet again, the double initiator from Enigma, I've got to say, the double initiator can work at times, but the thing is, the way I know it, double initiator usually includes a breach, especially on this map of Ascent. This strategy was really popular in Korea for a long time, and they still prefer it a lot. And the thing with that kind of a setup is you bring the breach and whoever your duelist is, in major cases, it's going to be the Jet, just like in this matchup right now. And the Jet is aggressive. See, that's how Korean teams like to adapt to that composition. They go full out, full force. Doesn't matter how much utility, time, or manpower they are spending. They're gonna get in your face and they're gonna get their values worth. Now, without Breach. With Sky and Sova, like you said, Enigma are going to prefer information more. The Owl Drone, the Recon Bolt, and this Trailblazer for Sky, not to mention her ultimate, but ultimates can only be used in very, very certain circumstances. So a lot of information utilities are present, and how exactly are they going to utilize all that info? Are they going to pair it with something like a Killjoy? Are they looking to go for entry frags and raw fuel, especially on the attack? Enigma, right now, I believe they're starting on defense, but once they jump over into
Yeah.
the attack, we can expect raw fuel to just pop off entirely. And based on all the info he's getting from his teammates, just dispatch members left, right, and center of Bleed Esports. That, to me, is a very likely possibility that Enigma are leaning and preferring towards.
I absolutely agree with you there 100% because I believe that a double initiative composition on this map, Breach has to be the agent to go for. But I feel like for Enigma, it is more like a comfort pick for them. Hika on the Sky has played like multiple competitive games, and right now against BD Sports, probably against whom they've not played a lot of games and not played a lot of matches, they probably aren't willing to experiment because I'm pretty sure Hika, he doesn't really generally play the Breach, which basically means that all of the other players, they have to shuffle a little bit from their agent, which means that they have to kind of reshuffle the composition overall. But considering what a Sky can do on this map, I'm pretty sure the flashes, as well as all the information utility that you talked about, everything is going to be funneled in for raw fuel to actually enter the side and get those initial picks, establish that man advantage, and then bring a lead back for Enigma Gaming. But then again, we have watched Enigma play yesterday, and their slow and methodical approach to the game was really appreciable. I love the way they approached the game against XELI Esports, but on the defensive side of things, they've got this tendency to kind of push out all the corridors. They love to pinch the opposition from both the sides, which kind of makes them a little predictable. I'm pretty sure when Bleed Esports kind of get accustomed, kind of get used to what the Enigma setup looks like, they might actually wait for these players to pop off from certain predictable corridors. Something which XELI Esports did perfectly yesterday. They waited for players to actually pop off from the C corridors of Haven, from the A corridors, and they used to get a lot of important frags, which basically means that the defenders would be left reeling for, I would say, more right now. If you are on the defensive side and you basically lose players, the defensive setup gets thinned out more and more. You leave spaces in between which can be exploited well by the attackers. And I'm pretty sure that Bleed Esports might do something of the same, of similar tactics. It all kind of comes down how Enigma adapt to this particular team. Again, kind of by the looks of it, they're probably trying to set up all the cage utility on the A side. By the way, we have got the game ready. There's just a slightly teeny tiny pause, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pretty sure you want this game to start as soon as possible, but yeah, the game is about to begin right about now. Right about now. Yeah, I've got the call from producer as well. It's going to start right about now, but still, till then, we have some time to theory craft. We have some time to kind of talk more about it, but you talked about the duelist versus duelist thing, CCV, and I'm pretty sure Frosties versus Raw Fuel is going to be a battle that everybody wants to watch out for.
Absolutely.
Raw Fuel, he was impeccable yesterday. He completely tore down the opposition. Do you think he's going to do the same today as well?
If I say anything other than yes, I'm probably gonna die very soon. Like, it's like God himself will write my name and he's like, no, 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 no. You can't
Death
say
Note,
stuff like
yeah.
I wasn't never mind. But never mind. What I'm trying to say is yes, I think everyone is going to pop off. It depends on the consistency of the players, because right now, every single player is as strong as his teammate. You've got to make sure that all your teammates are completely on the get-go. They are on the lookout. They are completely energized. If they aren't, well, the QR code right now is flashing below. You can get yourself a can of Red Bull just delivered to your doorstep to make sure that throughout all the matches, you are ready to fight any and all battles you want to. As a viewer as well, plenty of matches here at the Esports Club channel today and for the following weeks. We've got the Gauntlet going on, and obviously we've got Showdown, so you definitely don't want to miss your favorite teams participating in a multitude of tournaments against a multitude of opponents. So that's why if you want to see all of their matches and if you want to show your support for all of them, well, make sure you keep yourself energized and hydrated thanks to Red Bull. But right now, I know everyone is energized, I know everyone is ready, and I'm happy to inform inform you that we will be jumping into the game. The pistol round will be starting very, very shortly. And that's the thing about the pistol round, is that it is filled with excitement, it is filled with glee, but it is also filled with uncertainty. You aren't completely sure what's going to happen. The pistol round is where your raw aim, your individual like mechanical skills matter the most, because pistols can be unpredictable. Trust me, I've dealt with enough classic shorties. I think everyone has to know that those guns, sometimes they can be great, but sometimes they can really bite you in the back and just really backstab you, even though you own the gun. So in this case, strategy, it's dependent on the strategy. You can't buy a lot of utility. Everyone only has 800 credits, and you've got to spend it very wisely, depending on how much armor you want to buy, upgrade your pistols, many things to consider. So for that reason, you've got to stick together as a team. You've got to go into duels head on, and we will be seeing plenty of duels starting right now. 20 more seconds to go, and then we can begin match number 3 of the showdown.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the audience is excited. I'm pretty sure all of us are excited as well. The players, they're just waiting to actually pop off. Just like you mentioned, every single player is going to be as strong as their teammates. And I'm pretty sure both the lineups, they are ready to go. We kick things off with Team Bleed Esports. They're on the attacking side. They try and make something happen on the B side. But right off the bat, we can see that Hika will be up there, trying to destroy the target, trying to be the first form of resistance. We can see a mid push coming in through Bleed Esports. They've got a lot of real estate to work with, a lot of map control, and here it comes. The pinch comes in. 2 players on the defense side of things. Enigma Gaming will be a little overwhelmed, but Rexy opens things up, opens the account. First blood. Hika follows up on the back of it. Frosties is down already, but Jarpix and Lexi, they're gonna bring 2 back. They've stabilized the teammate right now. It's 3v3 and anything can happen, especially with Bleed Esports a little low. Enigma will have a slightly greater chance of pulling this through. What do you think, CCV?
I think Rexy and Hika did an excellent job of holding down the site. Now they just have to rely on their teammates to go for the retake, because it is a 3 versus 3, and look at the HP of the members on Bleed. Not doing too good. Ben, 10 HP. Lexi goes down. Only 2 remain. He's there on the back of the bomb site. Both the attackers are tagged inside of both houses. Enigma are applying the pressure, and the thing is, the spike is being diffused. Antidote has to cover a lot of angles. He covers 2, and he dispatches both the other members. So Enigma, by the thinnest of margins, thanks to Antidote just strafing all around both the entrances of both house, he makes sure that his team take the win. He kills the surviving 2 members. He diffuses the spike, and that's the big thing. I think the early on, yeah, as we can see in the replay right now, Rexy and Hika inside the bomb site, they got rid of 2 of the members. They died, yes, but they wasted so much time in the bomb site, you know, playing and fighting against the members of Bleed Esports, that by the time Bleed had the bomb site control, well, Enigma had the reinforcements ready, and they could play the retake game as slow as they would like.
Yeah. Once again, we start things off. It's going to be a little problematic because weapons have been upgraded. RVK trying to take this really aggressive, and this is problematic. Here it comes. Ben takes him down with the Sheriff. That's 1 man down already. Frosties actually finds Rexy. Is this a force buy coming in from Bleed Esports? It's actually only 1 Spectre that has been retrieved by Chrysania. Apart from that, Frosties is playing with the Marshal, and he's doing absolutely crazy stuff. He's taking down Antidote as well. 2 players down already, and this can be problematic for Enigma, considering the fact that they had to go in for Spectres right now. They were supposed to win these duels. Rawfuel gets 2, but Benaf actually trades him out. It's a 1v2 right now. Hika has so much heavy lifting to do. He comes in all the way from the B side, which basically means Team Bleed Esports, they have all the time in the world to plant the spike and get back to positions where they want. It's gonna be a little difficult for Hika especially. I'm not really sure if he has a lot of utility left in his kitty. And especially with, okay, so he does have the Trailblazer, so he can get some information as well. He does have a flash available with him, but considering how Frosties has been popping off with the Marshal, it's going to be a little difficult.
It certainly is, and look at the time. Look at the pressure building on Hika right here. He throws the guiding light. He attempts to flash the opponents, but Frosty is right there. He spots the barrel of the gun. Hika wins that duel. And unfortunately for him, he can't win the second. So that is a triple kill for Ben. And that is the first round for Bleed. Not entirely not what Enigma were expecting. And not what they would have liked. I mean, the kill disparity right here. The threshold of kills that Bleed were able to pull off right from the get-go. Look at this. This was great from Rawfuel. A nice 2k with the Ghost. 2 headshots. But unfortunately, until that point, the damage was already done. The initial kills were just going in the favor of Bleed Esports. Rex Rexy died, then Frosty got a 2k with the Marshall. I mean, this was supposed to be the anti-eco of Enigma, but Bleed Esports using their force buy, well, they are in the better economical condition right now. As we start off with round number 3, it's going to be Enigma on the back foot.
Well, down the economic trenches, Team Enigma, they've got to resort to pistols for themselves. Antidote trying to be a smoke criminal, but as soon as the smoke dissipates, he's gonna get destroyed by Chrysania, who comes in with his phantom staring at his face. But Rofil and Hika, oh my god, Sheriffs actually pop off for this team. 2 quick kills, 4v3 right now. Rofil, a second frag for this man, takes down Ben. All that mid-aggression, all the territory that was gained by Bleed Esports has sort of been neutralized. Rofil is in prime position. He does have a retrieve vandal as well. Gets a third for himself. Takes down Chrysania, and now it's only Jarpix. My man, he just wide swings him and one taps him to other dimension. Jarpix, what can he possibly do? I mean, I love the way Enigma just applied themselves. Once again, eco frags coming in through. It was Frosties in the first and in the second round, and now it was Hika as well as Rofil just coming in and popping off with their sheriffs. Those initial 2 kills actually were really important because those allowed them to pick up the weapons and also get them some space to work with. As soon as they got that superiority, overwhelming in mid, they just could control the entirety of the game itself.
That's going to be a big factor. I mean, with a map like Ascent, where map control is dependent on how many members and how much utility you have on the board alive, ready to be used and not passive utility, well, initial kills are going to matter a lot, as if they don't in any FPS shooter. They always do. Now, it's going to be the same pinch push we saw in the first round. In this case, Rofil yet again gets the initial kill. Hika is still in the bomb site. He's got to defend the attack. He doesn't get a kill. Frosty takes him down. However, Rofil is right here from market. He's going to peek in the bomb site. It's going to be Jet versus Jet, and it's going to be who takes the kill. Frosty is being cornered off from so many angles. Sheriff versus Sheriff back up. Rexy's applying the pressure, and it's going to be Rofil getting another 4K. 2 consecutive 4Ks for this man. Be it the Vandal, be it the Sheriff. It's going to be Rofil.
Wait. He had a Vandal to work with, and he had the confidence to actually switch to the Sheriff because he knew that the other Jet wasn't a Sheriff. He destroyed him. He literally nailed him to death over there. Flicks wide, takes down Frosties, and extends his warm welcome. Welcome to India, Bleed Esports. Of course, 3-1 the scoreline in Team Enigma. Just showing their overwhelming presence in every part of the map right now. Every part of the pitch, it's theirs for the taking. They've been winning these duels down to Rofil's brilliance, but of course, once again, they'll try and explore the mid avenue. Bleed has been doing the same thing over and over again. Now, I understand the mid aggression is really important, but this time, it can be a little problematic. Hika, though, finds a 1-for-1 trade. Frosty is just popping off. Takes down 2. The remaining 3 players, though, can they go in for a retake? They have the utility to do so. They've got the Astra, who can completely take down both houses out of the equation. You've got the Jet, who can enter into side. You've got Rofil, who's absolutely popping off, so you can depend on him for kills. And then you've got RVK, who is a clutch minister for the team. In a 1v1 situation, in a 1v2 situation, even in a 1v3 situation, you always depend on this man to kind of shine. Chrysania has been spotted. Rofil takes on him, takes him down. Still survives that, gets away with murder. Frosties brings on Rofil. That's one more player taken off. RVK and Frosty still exchanging bullets, still exchanging trades, but it's Frosty's on an ace right now. He might actually find the ace. Antidote takes him down, but it's Jarpix who actually finds the trade. It's another round for Bleed Esports, and they make it 3-2. It was close. It was too close for comfort.
That's the thing, that the unpredictability as a viewer, as a caster, I mean, it's going to be amazing. You head into every single round with a level of what's going to happen next, because I for sure don't know. Nobody knows who's going to be popping off. Any of these 10 players can do that. But for the players, that's the thing. They themselves aren't aware what's going to happen next. It is going to be a very, very difficult thing to cope with mentally, knowing that in any round, either you win really well, or you can just lose out in a flawless manner and your opponent can get a 4K. Now, it's going to be Bladestorm up against the Operator. Jet versus Jet, maybe back up and running. Frosty, does he use his updraft right now? No, he's still waiting. Still waiting on Catwalk. for any defender to peek. And this is what we were talking about in the pre-match presentation as well. Bleed may play a bit passively, waiting for Enigma to show their face and then counteract on that.
Yeah.
But right now, Enigma themselves are playing passively. They are not peeking. They've given up B garage control. They've given up A main control as well. They are in the bomb side. 40 seconds have been utilized, and so far, not a lot of map control and no gunfights.
Yep, true that, but Hika might actually have to prepare for a lot of them right now. The recon that does come in, but Frosty's pops off. Updraft,
Oh my
takes out
God!
Hika, completely murders him. Has a shorty to work with, but before that, reinforcements come through. Krasania takes on Rexy. It's a 3v5 right now. Both the players from the defending team were taken down in a flash. You're not given a second opportunity. They were completely overwhelmed. I love the fact that Enigma, they stayed disciplined. They did not overextend, something which they kind of faltered to in the first game of the previous best of 3 that they played. But this time around, they stayed disciplined, but they don't really get the reward for it because Bleed Esports and their set piece execute was just super good, CCV. I love the fact that they run down the clock so much, and as soon as it's time for them to go aggressive, they pop in. You have Frosties, who knows exactly what he's got to do. You've got a good cover coming in as well. You've got Krasani, who's always hitting his shots, who's always ready with his smokes and flashes. Perfect timing on the paranoia, by the way. And now you have RVK and basically others just trying to save their weapons. Rawfuel gets one exit frag for himself, but how long can he last? How long can he stay alive? I guess he's gonna walk past to the next round, but that's about it.
Okay, we know
Yeah.
the drill.
What a round.
Stick to your roles and we'll crush it.
Yet again, I mean, the execute won it. Enigma had no reply to that. Just let's look at this replay from Frosty. Oh man, aim lab on point. But yeah, I've got to say, even after that, Enigma, they knew saving guns and saving face was the best way to deal with it. If they attempted the retake, they would lose the operator, the vandals, and all the armor that they had. So that's fine for them. Enigma, you know, they can go into round number 7 with another full buy. So yet again, we are seeing, you know, the one operator on raw fuel. Otherwise, it's going to be all rifles. A bit of ultimates on board as well. You know, you've got the Cosmic Divide, you've got the Blade Storm, you know, the Hunter's Fury and Rena's ult as well, the Empress available for bleed. But it's going to be guns that will be mattering. It's going to be the frags, honestly. And yet again, Bleed are taking the slow and steady approach. The spike is still at the top of catwalk on mid. They haven't picked it up. Looks like they are planning for an A take, but for that, it looks they may need mid control if they want to attack from the garden side as well, because only an A main push, that can be a very bottlenecked feeling, especially with raw fuel sitting right here pretty with an operator. I don't think Bleed will be completely ready. They have to go for the flash. Reina is ready. Ben has got the Leer in his hands. There goes the smoke. There goes the owl drone. Information is going to be a big factor as the execute starts right now.
Wow, what an execute. Once again, raw fuel completely dismantled over there. Ben finds Hika. No more presence for you. Team Enigma have been pushed back. They've been knocked out of sight. Here he comes. Antidote finds 2 of his own. Raw fuel still trying to make it work. Finds Ben. A very tight situation, especially for Team Enigma, but they recover from it. In spite of the fact that that execute was almost pitch perfect, it just worked out. Enigma, though, they can actually play on the back of this ultimate. They are kind of caught out. Buys Bleed some time to work with, but Lexi knows exactly what RVK is. This duel is going to be so important. Lexi's going to win it. RVK is down and dusted. Frosty is just waiting for these players to pop off. Raw fuel with the NOP. Can be a liability to work with. Shorty's ready. Here he comes, the recon dart. Look at this man. Look at this man.
Used one
Look at
bullet.
the confidence. Frosty trying to go for a pre-fire.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
He retrieves the operator and he gets back to safety. What a round it was. Like, there is so much to talk about it. I love the fact once again Bleed Esports do a similar thing, right? They try and run down the clock or wait for the execute happening. You mentioned a very important point. They did not have mid control whatsoever. There was no garden presence, but that aggression near main, in spite of it being a very bottleneck situation, I'm pretty sure that they have practiced it time and time again, because their defaults are just so super good. Every single time, all these players, they know their responsibilities. The Jet dashes in. Omen finds a way to teleport inside as well. They've immediately managed to take down 2 players, but that antidote came in with a recovery, so even that was there. And everything just went down, but the recovery from Team Enigma was literally perfect. Talking about this round, though, we've got 2 quick kills. A flash coming through as well. Team Bleed, they're actually making it work. Really awkward operator kill to start things off with. And right now you can see that Enigma, I mean, it's an eco round. You can actually let it pass, but it's going to be a little...
Yeah, Enigma is still going to give it the level best. They're still looking for kills. That's the main thing. They want to deal economic damage to Bleed. They've gotten 2 casualties, but I think that may just be it. Hika being the only person alive. Yeah, one thing I love is in the previous round, after that 1v1, all of us were losing their minds. Both of us surely were. I can only imagine the people watching, the viewers, also feeling the same feelings. And I just saw Frosty's cam, and he was dead silent. And he was just in the game, completely focused. And that's the thing. Right now, though, for Hika, that's nice. Another kill. And he gets one more. Can he get a triple? Can he try and edge this round? Yes, he may just. He may just. He's going to defuse the spike. And I think he has enough time. So that's going to be a thrifty win for Enigma that really no one expected. I was talking about the previous round because Hika was all by himself. But that one Vandal and all he needs is his aim. He may be an initiator, but he has not forgotten his roots. He has not forgotten the time he used to be the duelist. And he delivers for his team as the only man standing.
What a round. Wonderfully isolating these frags. Beautiful footwork on the pitch, and this man just clutches out the round for the team. I'm pretty sure Bleed Esports, they would have suffered a shock over there because it's not just you losing rounds, it's also a mental shock from a 1v3 situation. How can you actually give that round away? That can cause some doubts, some self-doubts among Bleed Esports, and the players can be a little bit of understanding as well. Team Enigma, they are being overwhelmed, but Frosty actually tries to walk in. Oh my god, what is this? Lexi! He actually sprays on 2 of them. Rafiel still find a frag with the Sheriff, but that's about it. 3v3 right now. It's been really tight in that A main situation. Players from Enigma, they've been kind of caught out. They've been forced out of sight, but they can initiate this retake. Rafiel still got the op, still got the Sheriff to work with, and he can get kills with both of them. Players will start and try pouring in from Heaven region as well. We've got Hunter's Fury popping off left and right and center. The lockdown will certainly be destroyed. Oh, wait,
the Killjoy isn't destroyed. The lockdown wasn't destroyed. What? How is that possible?
Okay, Jarpix. Okay, Jarpix. I'm pretty sure that the other Hunter's Fury might have dismantled his position or dismantled his aim. He probably went for. I'm not sure what exactly happened, but there were 2 Hunter's Fury, right? And probably the one on the defensive side of things was to try and take down the attacker Sova. It was kind of awkward. It was kind of really chaotic in that side, but time and time again, Bleed have found their way to exploit that A main region. CCB, what is your thoughts on it? Because Enigma haven't been able to defend that entire site by themselves unless reinforcements come in.
That's the thing. Bleed aren't even going for like a A main and a garden, like a split push. Like
exactly.
They're just pushing A main, and at times they can be slow or they can be completely explosive, like they were in the previous round. And that's the thing. Right now, Enigma aren't completely sure. See, you look at the previous round and now look at how Bleed Esports are taking this round. It is a heap of difference. It's like watching 2 completely different playstyles. And this keeps Enigma on their toes. They can never expect what's going to happen. Right now, we can expect a gunfight to take place. Frosty's right there with the Marshal. Hika with the Vandal. He'll choose not to peek. He's got his flashes with him. So he can try to use those to go in a gunfight. But he still may peek that angle raw and just, using... No, he's got the flash. He's got the trailblazer, as a matter of fact. Never mind whatever it is. They've got plenty of guns. They have to hold this A-main push. This time it's going to be a split push. The initial 2 kills go in favor of Bleed. They have the side control yet again. They've got the Vandals. They've got the rifles now. It's no more thrifty round. And Lexi can be the instigator to a big fight as he gets one more headshot for himself as he has plenty in this game. And before you know it, this may just be a flawless round win for Bleed. A pseudo-flawless perhaps. Rexy being the only man alive.
Yeah, but not for long because Chrysania is going to put a bullet right in his brain. Of course, he's going to pick up the operator for his Frosties, of course. But look at the way Bleed do this, right? I mean, every single time they go for a different take on a particular site, I absolutely love it. We've seen 3 different executes on that A side so far. One, they run down the clock. They've got that wonderful execute right at the fag end of the round itself when it's about like 20-30 seconds on the clock. They've got a fast explosive push where all the players just pop in with the smoke on the back of that flash. And this time it was a little different. We'll talk about it a little later because right off the bat, Rafiel has been taking down one of the most important players for the side of Enigma, has suffered a casualty. Enigma, though, can they recover from this situation? Because, of course, Rexy does have a weapon on him, but... Okay, then Frosty's collides on that wall, and basically the dash couldn't really do much, couldn't really save him. He's been taken down, so it's a jet for jet trade, but the attack team still has the upper hand, I must say, because if you try and look at it prospectively, you have basically a 3v2 situation on the B side, which can actually go their way. If not, RVK and Rexy just pop off.
That's a very true possibility, but yeah, again, Enigma are just going to stay passively. There are only 2 members on the B-bomb side right now. It's going to be the Killjoy lockdown, this time from Bleed Esports, which will be ready. And we can see the Sova Owl drone coming in. So Rexy will have to play from the back of the bomb side for another 1.5 seconds. He throws the shock dart. Side control has been taken. And there you go. The Killjoy has been detained. RVK right now in that shed. He has been detained. He's got his gun back up. Rexy is going for the angles. Everyone on Enigma is ready for the retake. They're right there on the edge, on the cusp of the bomb site. Now they just have to engage in gunfights because everyone from Bleed is behind. A lot of utility can matter. Everyone has been cornered off into this one area. Lexi's pushing through and he gets the headshot. Another one falls down on catwalk, and on the same area is where the final kill takes place as Ben gets rid of RVK. So Bleed, even though they were completely on one side of the map at the boathouse, all 4 members cornered off, they still won all of the engagements, and Enigma didn't get a single kill to their name in that retake.
They had so many utility and ultimates to actually use on that retake situation, especially the Seekers. It's such a beautiful ultimate to actually help you understand where the positioning of the players are. Even if you get caught in one, you are dazed for certain seconds. But Lexi just disrespects its Seekers, he disrespects a flash, and he catches a Sky with his pants down, basically. Team Bleed, boy oh boy, I'm loving what they're trying to do. They've shown us multiple different executes that keeping Team Enigma on their toes right now. Every single time Team Enigma start getting comfortable, it's Bleed coming back and throwing them a knockout punch. This time that they're trying to get mid control. You see that every single time it's difficult for Enigma to actually read the name of the game for Bleed. Initially, they started off with a lot of mid control. They were pushing up really high on mid, really aggressive, try and break that mid doors, the market doors as well. But this time, they focused more towards their default executes from the A side. 3 consecutive rounds, and now they're moving towards the B side for a back-to-back round. Once again, the flash does come through. Frosty on the Blade Storm. It can be really important, especially when they've got a lurker in mid as well. The Sova is going to be really important. Jarpix, I'm pretty sure he's going to be a really key player over there. Frosty has made his way in, but Rexy finds a frag on him. The ultimate completely disrespected over there. RVK finds 2 of his own. Jarpix and Chrysania come back, make it a little easy for Bleed, but that's about it. Enigma, all they can offer is 3 kills as raw fuel and antidote. They close the shop. They say, not today, ladies and gentlemen. They make it 6-6 in the first half. It has been a really competitive first half, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pretty sure the second half is going to be more competitive as well. But I'm also expecting the teams to open up a bit, the game to open up a bit. Certain unforced errors can create a difference, and that can be a possibility as the game progresses towards the fag end of it. We've seen Bleed Esports be phenomenal in their attack. They've done multiple executes. They've got mid control. They've done their proper defaults. They've done their pinches as well from gardens, from mains, and they've done every single thing, and everything has worked for them. But also Enigma and the retakes have been literally flawless, especially with raw fuel and antidote at the top of their game right now.
That's the thing. Now, statistically, Enigma are better on their defense on the map of Ascent. Now they are on attack. But honestly, I don't think statistics will matter. Every single round is a new chapter on its own with a completely unpredictable beginning, middle, and end. No one knows what's going to happen. We have seen plenty of thrifty rounds. We have seen 1v3 clutches, ecos, 4Ks. Everything, anything and everything under the sun has already taken place. And it's only been half of one map of this best of 3. One can only imagine what will take place on in the future. Right now, well, 40 seconds have passed on, in this first round of, the second half, round number 13. Enigma still not a lot of leeway in terms of map control. They're near attacker spawn, now going towards A main. So their plan is going to be for an A take. However, look at Chrysania, look at the information. He still knows that Enigma aren't even at A main yet. Only now are they going to start. So he can call for backup, and he has called for backup. Ben was there. He gets 1 kill, but that's all Bleed get for now. Now on the bomb side, it's going to be Frosty engaging in another gunfight, and he loses his life. He tried to dash away,
Oh my
but
God.
that was his end. Jarpix with the shock dart though. He
30
gets another
seconds
trade.
left.
Enigma still have the man advantage. They just have to plant the spike and play a good post-plant scenario.
Yeah, it's really important they retain Antidote.
Planted.
His utility can be the key for them, especially in this part of the game itself. Sova and the KJ, a lot of responsibility. I'm pretty sure the recon dart isn't going to give them a lot of information to work with. That might give them a little bit understanding of what's happening. Antidote has actually been taken down real quick. Lexi, not aware of the wearings where Rexy is, and he's going to shut him down. Team Enigma actually make it 7th on board for them. But a subsequent SMG round, I'm not really sure. They did win the first pistol round as well, CCV. But you remember that Bleed
True.
actually counteracted
Very
the SMG round perfectly on the back of that Frosty Marshall double kill. I believe it was a double or a triple kill. Doesn't really matter. But those initial
Yeah,
kills
double.
actually make a difference if you can retrieve the Spectres. If Bleed actually do something similar, I'm pretty sure the advantage is going to be on them. But right now, Team Enigma, they've got something going back for them as well. On the back of those amazing rounds that Bleed pulled off, I feel like Enigma, they need some rejuvenated confidence, and this pistol round might just be one of those.
Yeah, they definitely got to make sure that they win this and they don't give unnecessary kills. What I can see for that is how they're roaming in pairs. You can see Killjoy and Sova right there outside of B garage together, so that even if they do take a duel against the defenders, they can still try and go for trades instead of free 1 kills and free 1v1 duels. So that's nice. The spike is still there near attacker spawn. The attackers are playing very passively, and I don't completely get this. Enigma, sure, they can try to take long range or mid range gunfights considering they've got Spectres and full armor against the pistols of Bleed, but why aren't they going for map control early on? Are they still waiting for, were they expecting something like Bleed to like 5-man push them because they only have pistols? That might have been their strategy, but that's not happening. Bleed are still playing very passively. Look at where Chrysania is with that Sheriff. Is Antidote going to expect him? Antidote is all by himself, mind you. He's in his astral form. So this kill can matter a lot.
Oh, no.
And he
He's
checks him, he sees him, and not only that, but Rafuel gets the opening kill. Now the A execute is on his head. Enigma are ready to take this challenge head on, and they're ready to bleed Esports.
Ironical, isn't it? Bleed Esports, yeah, for sure. Team Enigma are doing a lot of damage right now. Bleed couldn't really pull off something which they did in the first half of the game. No kills offered as of yet. And that's basically it, ladies and gentlemen. A flawless round, an 8th round on board for Team Enigma as they keep all their weapons. They go for a possible bonus round. Yeah, they're going to retain most of their weapons. Yeah, for sure. But considering what has happened right now, Bleed Esports, they're going to reinvest into heavy weaponry. And that basically means that this is going to be their first buy round, their first opportunity to kind of get back what they trailed by 2 rounds. That's the difference right now. But you consider what Enigma just did in that round, right? They kept it clean, they kept it slow, they kept it methodical. And this is what the name of the game has been for them on attack. Most of the rounds, they've been really slow with the progression on the way they do things. They try and spread themselves up. They try and get more information. Remember that they've got a Sky and a Sova. They can get a lot of information. They can get they can check every single positioning, honestly, on the sites as well. Lexi preparing for that onslaught to come onto him, but I'm not really sure if he's prepared. For sure he's prepared. He takes down Rafuel. That's the first kill. Gravity, well, though, is going to dismantle his position, but he tanks it perfectly. The flash comes through as well, but the smoke is in possession. Frosty's meanwhile takes down Rexy as well. That's a lot of trades going in back and forth as this round, it's not really that slow. Team Enigma, they've kind of given away their eggs in their basket. It once again was just a bonus round for them, so you can't really expect a lot from the Spectres. But if Team Bleed Esports keep it really clean and not drop a gun, I'm pretty sure they're going to take this victory. They're going to take this victory with both open arms.
That is true, because Enigma, as soon as they find a rifle, they're just saving that. Then right now they can push because they know even if they lose the Spectres, it doesn't really matter. But as soon as they find their hands on a Phantom Vandal or potentially something else as well, they can go for the gunfights. RVK, he wins 1 duel. Now onto the Sheriff. He tries to go for the shots, but he can't land anymore. So only 1 casualty for the side of Bleed Esports. Otherwise, it's a good round. They can etch back a bit into exactly the lead that Enigma was planning on building. And the lead that still Enigma have, the only thing is it's only 1 round differentiating both of the teams. But now it's also going to be Enigma who can go for the full buy, and that's exactly what we're seeing. We are also seeing the Odin back up Jarpix. No, please, no. Don't. That's a risky business right there. If you can make use of that, then well and good. But if your opponents get their hands on it, oh boy, the Odin is gonna be. Oh no, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of this gun. PTSD.
For sure, everybody
yeah.
is. For sure, everybody is. I mean, you play on Mumbai servers, after all, and you're like, you probably got nailed by that weapon. But talking about nailed, Rexy does get nailed. Benaf probably executes a one tap on him, but he gets straight immediately. Look at this. So Enigma, they actually come back with strong hands. Rofil and Antidote, they come back, they take down 2 players. No controllers, no smokes, no flashes for you, Bleed Esports right now. What are you gonna do? Jarpex will be pushed back, even though it tries to go for a spray down on Rofil. Rofil is basically low. He's basically barely breathing right now, but the spike is going to go down. And it's really interesting because right now Team Enigma, they've completely taken over the side, but Bleed Esports can still potentially go in for a retake. It's 2v3 right now, especially with that lockdown available, but RVK actually destroys Jarpex. That's one big weapon down already.
Oh my god. Oh, this was the kill. Now Frosty's all by himself and he's got 2 members to deal with. 2 members who should go for trades. Enigma, do not isolate the gunfights right here. Just play for time. Play together. That's it. Doesn't matter who dies, who lives. You need to win this full by round. And there goes the spam fire from Anti. He's on 10 HP. He's going for the bullets. Frosty can't do a lot in the position. He gets the shots. He's trying to defuse the spike. RVK, he's going to be pushing up. Half defused, yes. But RVK has got his utility. There goes the classic. There goes the right click. And they may just go the round in the hands of Enigma. Does Bleed have time? No, they don't. Though everyone died in the end, it's still a happy ending for Enigma.
Yeah, pretty sure that Ascent was a graveyard, especially the B side. But RVK played down to perfection. I feel like his discipline was needed over there. Antidote need not really be, but considering he was at 10 HP, he probably knew that he's going to die either way. So why not just try and waste as much time as possible? And it did perfectly fine. I feel like Frosties didn't really have a lot of time remaining on that spike. I felt like it was almost diffused before RVK actually stepped in. So Antidote and his contributions were important. The shock that comes through as well. Brilliant lineup, but Benaf trying to take this really aggressive. Can't really fall back though unless and until he gets a kill. But Enigma, they've all huddled up outside this A corridor region, which can basically mean that they're trying to go for an A execute. Not really sure though. I mean, look at these players, right? They're all waiting. They're all waiting to find some more information. Yet, no map control. They're starting to send in their owl drones as well as their trailblazers, but both of them get destroyed. They get denied of information, but they probably know that there is a setup possible. There is Benaf who is in position already. Lockdown comes in play, doesn't really cover the entirety of side, and they can just basically sit back. But I just have a feeling that this can be a diversion. Yes, exactly it is. It is a diversion as a spike starts traveling somewhere else.
But the thing is that right now, the execute that Enigma are going for, I think Bleed are going to have an idea. We can see Omen and Sova already on mid. Fresenia is going to be the first one to take the duel, and he wins the gunfight, falls back. That's a free kill. No trades occurring for Enigma. They have side control. They are right here on the edge of on the brink of the bomb side. But look at Jarpex inside the bomb side before the attackers could step foot in it, and he gets 2 headshots, drops down the spike in no man's land. And how exactly Enigma planning on retrieving that? Well, it doesn't look like they have a concurrent like a concise plan. Yeah, just peeking the angles. RVK also loses his life. It's all going to be down onto Anti. He gets 1 headshot, but Jarpex, he picked the Odin. He didn't really make use of the Odin, but in this case, the Phantom really works for him as he picks up a 4K.
Wonderful stuff by that man. I love the fact that he could easily spray transfer those 2 players, especially I believe it was Rofil and Hika who were coming in from second lane. He could easily terminate them, and he was like, all right, guys, there goes your attack. Just down the drain, down the trash can. Team Enigma, they've tried hard. They tried hard. That diversion was a really expensive one as they had to spend in a full-on ultimate for it, the lockdown from RVK, but it didn't really give them a lot of dividends on the back of it. Frosties are trying to take this engagement, and Rofil is going to destroy him with the knives, butchering him down with a blaze storm. 1 player down already. The defense is going to be really thin right now, and they must be suffering. Enigma, especially on their eco round, they want to keep this. They want to drop as many weapons as they can, and they've done. They've got a good start to that business already, right? And they just want to damage them as much as possible. Bleed's
Yeah.
trying to keep this clean. Lexi takes down Antidote, so that's 1-for-1 trade. But Enigma actually find their way into enemy territory. Look at where Raw Fuel is. This man can destroy them from within if he gets unchecked right now. Jarpix not really looking in his direction. That basically means another free kill. Yes, his kill has been executed. He will retrieve a weapon for his team as well, and now they can pinch him from both market as well as B main. Chrysania might just be overwhelmed with 4 players running onto him. For sure, not a lot of them will be carrying weapons on the back of it. Chrysania gets the first frag. The paranoia comes through as well, but especially with all these players coming in with pistols, it's gonna be real problematic. But Chrysania clutches out, gets a 3K for himself. He has done his job. He's held back the side, but I'm pretty sure Enigma is happy with that eco round. They've dropped 3 weapons. It's not easy to do that, but Rawfield with that blaze storm, boy oh boy, he's smooth. He glides in the air and he glides into enemy territory even without being detected. Reminds me of a fighter jet though.
That is true, but right now, this Crusade just completely obliterating 3 members back to... I was like, he's all alone in the bomb site. Sure, he has a rifle, but against 3 members, that too from Enigma, who are playing really nicely, yeah, I don't think he has a chance to survive for long. I was going to say he should try and stay alive as long as possible, but no, he took the fights to Enigma. He didn't wait for them. He didn't wait for them to come and try and kill him. No, he took his rifle, he took the bullets, and he took all of their lives. And obviously, well, he takes the round for his team, equalizing and neutralizing the score that both Enigma and Bleed have against each other, 9-9. They're playing for double digits right now. They're playing for their own round number 10. So we've got Enigma yet again on the cusp of executing. Raw Fuel just walks into the bomb site. Raw Fuel walks into the bomb site, unchecked, unfiltered, just nobody looks out for him, and he may be able to get 1 kill. No, he looks away, and Ben, he gets the opening frag. This was great from Raw Fuel, completely just passing through all the defensive barriers that they had installed. But still, it doesn't go and it doesn't convert into anything useful for his side. Only a casualty, that too of their top fragger, the one with 20 plus kills.
For sure, but what can the rest of the teammates do right now? They're in pairs. The spike is towards the A side with 2 players are still trying to push forward towards B. Pretty sure want to say fake, but can this work out? Can these 2 players actually make it work in the A side? That's going to be a question, Sharping. So will be tasked with holding back the defense, especially with the spike still and its whereabouts still unknown. Hika trying to make something happen. But yeah, the diversion doesn't really work. If they have an idea what's happening, the from the shadows comes in as well, and here it comes. The Hunter's Fury might actually give them some time to work with RVK, and he'll come in to find some frags, as well as Chrysania from Winery. The ultimate was perfect. It was really slow, and like we thought that it would come down to utter chaos in the fag end of the round, and that was it is. Like it was an absolute manslaughter right at the fag end of the game.
The thing is, I'm not completely understanding why exactly are Enigma, in a way, not ignoring, but underutilizing the mid area. I'm talking about deep mid, such as Market and Pizza and all that exact corner where Frosty's player is right now, his player icon. So what we saw from Bleed Esports, especially in their own attacking pistol round, was great of that. They went for the split push from B main, they went from Market, and then they executed. Enigma, at times we have seen that, but it's only been 1 player. You know, the round we can think of is the round where Chrysania got his triple kill with that Phantom in a deep B bomb site. There, Raw Fuel, he pushed into enemy territory. He was in defender spawn. He got the kill onto Jarpix at like Market. He picked up his rifle, and from there he entered the B bomb site. But other than that, I've not seen a lot of multiple players like teams or like groups of Enigma players pushing down, trying to take mid control. Is that because of utility, or is that because they don't want to give a head-on gunfight to someone like Frosty, who always plays there with the rifles and all? Because if it's gunfights, then you can try and send someone like, you know, someone like Raw Fuel. I'm gonna just send Raw Fuel,
yeah,
and Frosty versus Raw Fuel, a lot can happen there. So mid control from Enigma, I'm not completely sure. Either they go from B main or they try and attack A main. Yeah, yet again, see, mid has just completely been underutilized, and not a lot of aggression right there as Ben tries to take the first engagement, but both players just narrowly miss each other. That's not going to be the case for 2-3 kills, as Bleed, within 14 seconds of the action phase, put the numbers of Enigma down to only 2 alive.
This was perfect, precise gunplay from Bleed as they destroy all these men systematically. this systematic destruction in a matter of seconds as Benyav destroys Team Enigma. I mean, there was no way Team Enigma could fight them, and for sure, Bleed just absolutely decimated them. Even anything could happen. I mean, and I 100% agree with you. I feel like Enigma have kind of underutilized that mid territory, which again is like a really important part of the map, especially on the map of Ascent. I'm pretty sure like getting that mid control can raise a lot of questions in the mind of defenders, because you can basically go on either sides. You can decide your plans on the go, and that is the versatility of the mid region as well. But this time didn't really see that happen. Once again, Bleed trying to make this work. Chrysania trying to go a little aggressive. RVK knows his presence and his whereabouts, but he's going to be pushed back as well. Now, I also kind of think that Enigma have been trying to take this mid-fight. They haven't pushed up really much, but Rawfield has been trying to take down Frosty in the process. Though Rawfield gets Benyav right now, right at the bat. Frosties will try and defend this tree area all by himself. The two players climbing on him can be a problematic situation. Nice crossfire that has been sent in, waiting for Frosties to overcommit. Flashes come through as well. Antidote finds Lexi. Frosties finds the first one. Jaw picks another one on the back of it. 3v3, 3v2 right now. Chrysania finds Antidote. That's basically controllers versus controllers, and Rawfield just waiting for Bleed Esports to overextend. If they do so, I'm pretty sure he's going to punish them, but how long he's going to wait? RVK in the back lines. Easy frag. Catches Frosty with his pants down. Was caught napping there. 2v2. Both of them on site. The spike is with Bleed. Yes! The spike is with Bleed right now, and they can do anything with it that they want. Rawfield coming in from heavens is going to be a problem. Gets stacked so much, gets stacked so heavy. Chrysania puts a bullet right in the brain of RVK, and that's about it. There goes the round.
Oh, Enigma RVK, he did so well by getting the kill onto Frosty, entering from deep mid, lurking away in the shadows until it was his time to shine. But unfortunately, after this very kill that we can see on the replay right here, yeah, then it was game over once he lost his life. And Rawfuel with low HP against two members couldn't really do much. So we have seen that Frosty has really been putting in major work. You know, earlier he was really down, like there was a big disparity between the kills he had compared to Rawfuel. Now it's really neck and neck. And now the thing is, it's not just Rawfuel versus Frosty, it's the other 8 members pitting against each other as well, because the score is 9-12. This map is the choice of Bleed Esports. This may as well be the final round, because they've gotten 3 kills with only a single casualty. There goes the Blaze Storm. Can he get the kill? No, he cannot. He has been shot down, but Enigma have a lot of work to do. Antidote has a lot of work to do all by himself. His final frontier, his teammate Hika falls, and he may as well fall with him. 5 HP remaining on him. The spike, he doesn't have it. But he can completely go around the defenders, try and kill them from B main. But Lexi and Jopix, they are exactly on the lookout for that Antidote. If he pulls this off, then well, he is the GOAT. But I don't think that may happen right now. Yes, that is it. Done and dusted map number 1. Bleed Esports take their win 13-9.
Yeah. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what happened. Ascent, a map which is Enigma's home turf. You can call it Enigma's home turf, just didn't really go their way, to be honest. I mean, this was a good fight. This was a really good fight. We got to see some great tactical awareness, but at the end of it all, Bleed Esports just snatched the victory. I love the way they recovered from the situation. 9-9 it was. A similar storyline yesterday as well, but at the fag end of the game, they pick it up and just don't really give the other team that space to work with. I mean, I love the fact that economy is always in their favor. They're always hitting their shots and not letting Team Enigma come back. You try and go for multiple ecos, you save up for one particular round, and when that doesn't really go your way, the end of the game, the end game that I basically call it, is going to get really difficult. Enigma, they've suffered similar fate yesterday and today as well. They're going to suffer a similar fate. Bleed Esports, absolutely phenomenal. But CCV, I want to know your thoughts on this game itself.
I think coming back to your point about the economy, one can really not be sure. I mean, how many thrifty rounds did we saw? How many thrifty wins did we see? We saw, I think, surely a couple of them. There were multiple thrifty round wins. And that's the thing, as a player, you can't really expect that. Nobody expects a thrifty round win. It just happens. And then you're like, okay, what was that? our entire economy is down in the gutters. How exactly do we recoup from this? But other than that, I think all over the gunplay was impeccable from both of the teams. Enigma towards the end, yes, they were falling short. I'm not saying they were bad. They were just falling short to what Bleed had to offer in terms of the gunfights and the duels and the frags and the headshots and whatnot. So that was the major thing. Now, heading into Split, is it going to be a similar story? Are Bleed going to end this 2-0? I honestly am not sure. Split, we can talk a lot about it. For now, let's still stay on topic about Ascent. We'll have plenty of time about Split. I'm sure everyone is looking forward to see map number 2 as well. For now, coming back to the side of Ascent, I don't really have anything wrong with the agent composition. I think for the side of Bleed, their double duelist setup worked really well. We were focusing a lot on Frosty playing the Jet as he was the top fragger, but Ben Aff playing the Reyna, it was a very consistent, high-ranking performance, and that is exactly what you want from a secondary duelist in your roster that you have picked.
Especially, if you look at the stats, Benyaf doesn't really have a lot of kills considering that he's a duelist, but I feel like he has been that impact fragger for the team, and that is what you want from a secondary duelist, right? You are always trying to run away basically from Frosties and his operator. You're like, okay, basically, there is the operator. You don't want to go there, right? And then Benyaf is in position. He is exactly waiting for you. And that is exactly where Benyam got most of his kills, right? We'll have a look at the kills, talking about it. We have the highlights ready for you, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to come on his screens real soon. And talking about this entire game itself, I feel like it was more like a slow, methodical approach to it. Both the teams kind of had a similar storyline playing this map. But Bleed Esports on their attacking... I feel I have to give it to them. I feel I've seen every single avenue been explored. Enigma didn't really do quite the same thing, and that is probably one of the reasons why they faltered in their attacking half. Because 6-6 on the map of Ascent in your attacking side is pretty decent because you can always come back in defense, and that is exactly what Bleed Esports did. You look at the way they try and explore mid avenues right at the start of the game. Frosties, as well as a couple of players, are always pushing this territory up. And as soon as Team Enigma kind of get conditioned to it, they like, all right, fine, mid is their heavy territory. They start executing the defaults and their A executes. You'll always see, you look at the highlights, and within a few rounds, you'll understand that Enigma was being overwhelmed inside. That is probably because they were primarily focusing on mid and keeping like less players on site to try and hold them back. And as soon as all 5 players start pouncing on them on the A side, you basically get dismantled and the defense just can't hold on to it.
This was the major difference between the first pistol round that we ever saw in this game, where the 2 members of Enigma on the bomb side, which were Rexy and Hika, they defended the execute from inside the bomb side, and they died, but they got enough kills for themselves and they wasted enough time. This wasn't the case later on. Right now, this was a great example. Yeah, Rexy was there, he got plenty of shots. Enigma did. No, this was the round where Hika got his 1v3. Oh, this was amazing. Yeah, let's rewatch it in just its entire glory. That was the second, and this was the third. Lexi just not being completely aware, and that was the final kill. But after this as well, Bleed Esports, just look at them piling on the pressure right here. They were only executing from one funnel entrance, that was A main. Not always were they focusing on mid, not always were they going for B executes as well. That was the thing, they were completely unpredictable. Either all 5 members can enter from A main, like you mentioned, they can go take mid control and then counter that as well. But so far, Bleed Esports in their attacker was really good. Even though at the end it was a 6-6, for Enigma, on their stronger side, to end their half in an equal manner would be considered a psychological victory for Bleed. And then we saw that coming into action in the next half, where Enigma only managed to win 3 rounds and Bleed took 7 for themselves. That is more than double what Enigma were winning. And looking at the highlights of these as well, yeah, plenty of kills and a lot happening. But overall, Enigma, they were just slowly but surely losing out on the gunfights that they were taking after the anti-eco, once the rifles and the ops started rolling around.
Yeah, pretty much. Enigma, if you really think about it, I feel like they've done well. Considering the gunfights, there wasn't really a gap, was it, CCV? You look at the way Rofulus played it, you look at the way Antidote has been finding kills, you look at the way RVK was finding kills. I feel like, mechanically speaking, both the teams were at an equal footing. But when you think about it, Bleed Esports, they just had a greater experience on the map of Ascent, and that basically means that they were having the upper hand. there were moments like these where it just came down to the wire, and Frosties and RVKs. We got to see a lot of 1v1s. We got to see a lot of clutches as well. Hika especially got to see. We got to see a great 1v3 from Hika, by the way. Considering all of that, I feel like both the teams are warmed up right now, and Ascent was a really good
Yeah.
game. We always have to look forward down the line. I feel like Ascent is done and dusted, and Enigma can't really change the outcome of the game. They've played exceptionally well, but Bleed was just a step ahead. You look at the way every single player has been playing, you know that there was contribution from every single one of them. Lexi, Chrysania, Yarpix, Frosty, as well as Benyaf. Each of them had their moments. Each of them had their rounds, and most importantly, it's Bleed playing together as a unit. It wasn't really like a system where 5 players are just finding rounds and 5 players are just going for kills one by one, and they're basically banking on players with great inhuman aim. It was like a coherent unit. It was a very cohesive performance overall. If they carry this forward on the map of Split, I'm pretty sure that they can exploit the gaps which are there in Enigma, especially considering how they have been able to exploit mid and trying to go aggressive. Split is one map, ladies and gentlemen, where mid is
Yeah.
to be really important.
That was exactly going to be my next point, is that on the map of Split, you can't really ignore mid. As a matter of fact, you, as an attacker at the very least, you have to give it far more preference than you would on the bomb site you're looking to execute, whether it be A or B. No matter where you're looking to execute from, mid is going to be a vital
Yeah.
part that either you take control of or you shut it off entirely for the defenders and stopping all rotations. That's the main thing that can happen. But on Split, we have a lot of things to talk about. We've got to talk about the compositions, previous results, what can we expect, what can we predict. But for now, I think this was a long map, wasn't it, Salty? We saw
Yeah.
plenty of kills, plenty of rounds. The players surely need a break. All of us do as well. So for now, we'll be taking a very small break. But don't worry, keep watching the stream. Make sure you get some Red Bull and you get some AMD processors for yourself if you are on the lookout for those. If you want to up your personal computer in terms of gaming, animation, or overall performance, great for them, by the way. Just the amount of cores that they have and the hertz
Yeah.
at which they. But other than that, for now, everyone needs a break. So we'll be going off, but we'll be back with map number 2 in no time. So stay tuned and keep watching. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to AMD Presents the Esports Club Showdown in association with Red Bull. Of course, on the back of that amazing Ascent map, we have Split that is there for the taking right now. Bleed Esports, their first victory on the map of Ascent against Enigma Gaming. They're looking forward to make this a 2-0. Of course, the map of Split is going to be really interesting. CCV, I want to know your thoughts, but before that, Split is kind of a really questionable pick from the side of Enigma Gaming. Like, I did not expect Split to come through. They could have gone for Bind, they could have gone for Icebox. Instead, they go for Split, which apparently is Bleed's best map. What are your thoughts?
The only thing I think, I'm sure Enigma must have had a reason for themselves, but what I'm thinking why Enigma have chosen this map is because about 2 weeks ago in another one of the grand finals of tournaments hosted by the Esports Club, they ended up defeating Velocity here 13-2, which I'm not gonna lie is a pretty impeccable score, 13-2 in of itself, not to mention against Velocity, one of the best teams from India, from the Indian subcontinent. So considering that, Enigma must be on a high, but like I mentioned, that was 2 weeks ago. Since then, I don't think Enigma have played a lot of Split, if they have played it at all. And for the side of Bleed Esports, Enigma don't know what to expect against Bleed. For Split, yeah, Enigma must have had a bit of homework against VLT. But for the side of Bleed, yeah, let's bring up the map veto overall. We are talking about Split, and we can also mention a bit of Icebox, which maybe the map we'll be seeing later on. It surely can be, but if Bleed decide to really step the pedal to the metal right now and take the win, this can be a quick 2-0 done and dusted for their side. And honestly, I'm not sure what to expect here. Looking at the previous results, looking at the data, one can say Enigma can be a bit favorable, but honestly, Bleed have the advantage in my mind right now because of the win on Ascent and because it is considered to be their strongest map.
Exactly. You look at the way Bleed have actually played the map of Ascent. They are well prepared for the map of Split as well. I always believe, CCV, that Ascent and Split kind of work in a very similar manner. It's basically like different maps, but kind of structured in the same way, having the same ideology in mind. You always look at mid, which is one of the most important area, and Bleed exploited that position perfectly. We talk about Split and Enigma. They don't really have all that much presence. I'm pretty sure they might actually bring on a Sage as well, trying to cut down and trying to put down that mid wall. But even if you do that, I'm pretty sure the Bleed can exploit a lot of the chunks in the armor that Enigma are going to have. But Enigma, if they start playing their defaults well and they play the A side and B side perfectly, they can get a few rounds, but can they get the win? That is definitely going to be the question. I'm pretty sure they're going to be banking on some individual performances, some good services from the likes of Raw Fuel and RVK. Even Antidote might actually chip in with a few kills as well. But with the likes of Bleed Esports and the way they've been performing, with their trade game being absolutely impeccable and always coming down on the right end of things when it comes to timing, when it comes to backstabs, when it comes to synergy, Split really looks to go their favor, considering historically speaking, Split is their favorite map, of course.
That's the thing I want to talk about yet again. Agent selection screen is up and running. We can jump in and we can talk about which agents will be selected as the players are selecting them live in front of us. So we'll bring that up, because the thing is with agent selection, what exactly are Bleed planning here? From the looks of it, it looks like they're going for a double duelist again, and Jarpix will be the one playing the controller right now. That's quite interesting. So going away from the Sova, he's doing that. Meanwhile, for the side of Enigma, yeah, things stay similar. You've got Raw Fuel back on the Jet, RVK. He's got the Viper, Rexy on the Cypher. Yeah, you really can't go wrong with this setup. So Enigma have also got the Astra Viper setup, and I think this is the same composition they ran, like I was talking about the game against VLT, where they ended up defeating them 13-2. So the composition is fine, and I don't think their playstyle or their strats will change a lot. So essentially, Enigma's theory by picking the map of Split is going to be do the same thing we did against Velocity, and we should be able to take the win. Now, this is what they are thinking, and this is what their theory is. But in practicality, is it going to work? I'm going to be honest, and I think may not, because that's exactly what they tried on the map of Ascent as well.
Yeah.
What they tried on Ascent was, let's bring our most tried and tested composition out. Let's bring our most tried and tested strategies, our play styles, etc. But that didn't really work. They lost 39. So on split, I may see a similar thing happening. Whereas for the side of Bleed Esports, yeah, they're also going to go for a similar double duelist setup, like they did previously on Ascent. So yeah, compositions aren't changing a lot. That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one thing to note is that Frosties and Benyaf actually have switched roles right now. Frosties is on the Reyna, Benyaf is on the Jet. I mean, Frosties played absolutely impeccable on the Jet, so I mean, I'm not really sure why they go for a change, but I'm pretty sure that Frosty is probably more comfortable with the Reyna in this map. But if you look at the lineup in general, I'm pretty sure you would see two important things. Number one is Chrysania is not playing the default controller. He was perfect. His Omen was basically the cause of victory for Bleed Esports in that first map. Now, him playing the Sage, a very influential character, a very influential agent on this map. I'm pretty sure that he can be influential, but then your picks on that Astra, you always know that initiators are kind of take the backfield when it comes to the map split. You don't really need all of that information from that recon data and then Aldrone. You played on the back of your controllers. So yeah, your picks is going to pick up the controller just like you mentioned. It's an Astra versus Astra of Antidote. But considering we have Hika on the sky, it's going to be interesting because we've got a Viper as well. You've got a lot of information. You've got the Viper's wall, you've got the Astral smokes, and then you've got some flashes as well. It can be really crucial for you in the attack, but when it comes to defense, can you really hold on? That's the question.
As certainly going to be the case because yet again, Split is one of those maps which has such a big differential with like the attack win rate and the defense win rate in general. Well, like if you look at competitive Valorant all over, so how does that affect these two teams on a more micro level? How does that affect them individually? Not talking just statistics here, but their mentality changes and obviously their playstyle, like you mentioned. Certain compositions are really going to be favorable on attack when you want to pile on the pressure, but on defense, when it's your squad who has to deal with said pressure, who has to deal with said executions,
Yeah.
what exactly are you going to bring out of the bag and how exactly are you going to deal with it, if at all you plan on dealing with it head on, or is there something else that these teams may have in the bank? For Enigma, we have seen them play this composition a lot. They have found victory recently as well. For the side of Bleed, well, not a lot of people are sure what to expect. Enigma, I'm certain they must have done their due diligence once they won yesterday against Exili, and once they realized that, okay, next up it's going to be Bleed, let's do our homework on them, whichever map we want to play, whichever map we should avoid. For example, like Fracture was the case, you had Breeze as well, both the maps
Yeah.
those were banned. But other than that, back onto Split, I really don't see a lot of like certainty on this map, just like what we said about Ascent up until the first half. Up until the first half, it was 6-6, neck and neck, head on. The teams were going quite literally, round for round. But as soon as the side swap happened, well, then Bleed were just a step ahead.
Yeah.
Then another, and they had ran a marathon before Enigma could complete a sprint. So
Yeah.
being that with all that being said and done, I think that right now with Split in our minds, yeah, it's still very unpredictable. The only thing that can help us is going to be the pistol round, but then again, we have seen plenty of thrifties take place as well. So what exactly is going to be the case? It's a big question mark.
One thing which I always say on the map of Split is like it's a very momentum based. Like the way you play this map, it's very heavily momentum heavy. You look at the way the attackers kind of get round after round after round. It's really hard for you to actually come back from thrifties in this one. We've seen Enigma kind of succumb to the pressure at the fag end of the game. They've done this once. They've not done this twice. They've done this thrice now. I've seen them do this 3 times in a row where they kind of try and stay as much as possible, close to what the scoreline of the opposition is. They come back from like 1 or 2 rounds loss, but then immediately when it comes to the final third of the game, they kind of lose in a few rounds consecutively, from which they cannot always recover. If Bleed can actually pile on that pressure, just like you mentioned, if they can get a few rounds right on a trot and possibly keep on that pressure, just like I mentioned, since this map is very momentum heavy, it's going to be really hard for you to actually beat the economy, to beat the thrifty round as well. And if you cannot manage to do that, you basically have an opposition who is running away with the game even before it started. We've seen teams start up rounds where it's like what 5-0, 6-0, or probably like obnoxious score lines like 9-3 or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if something of that sort happens. But then again, the first half is gonna be like really closely structured. I'm pretty sure all the players are gonna play according to the tactics that they've told. But we talked about this in Ascent as well. As the game progresses, the players start taking up a more free role. They start freeing up a little bit, where the chances of errors are greater, but the chances of some more impressive plays are also greater. We have to find out which team actually gets those impressive plays and which team actually makes those unforced errors, because if you make one, you're gonna get punished. And the likes of these two teams, the capabilities of these two teams, they're gonna punish you for a lot of errors in this one. Enigma, just like you mentioned, this is not their best played map. This is not their most played map, which basically means that they might actually lose out a little bit here and there as well, which also kind of translates to the fact that Bleed can capitalize on it.
That's the thing. When we walked into the first round of Ascent, very soon we'll be walking into the first round of
Yeah.
the map of Split. The pistol will be starting any time from now. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you've got your seatbelts on. This is going to be a fast one. It's going to come at you really fast and hard. But when we went into Ascent, both of these teams, they hadn't played against each other before at all. At least not on a competitive level, on a stream, on a big league with like a cash prize of like $15,000, mind you, like the Showdown has. So, with that being said, they were completely fresh to each other's playstyles. They weren't sure what to expect, how exactly the other person or the other players perform under pressure, or what their playstyles are, etc., etc. Now they must be acclimatized to all of that. They must know that, okay, certain members of certain teams, whether it be the duelist, whether it be the sentinel, they like pushing up on angles, they like going for those lurks. So we have to watch our backs constantly. Doesn't matter where we are attacking or how we are defending. And that's the thing, because both of these teams are more acclimatized to each other, the area and the margin for mistakes severely reduces, because the slightest of mistakes means that your opponents can catch on to it almost instantly. And as soon as they catch on to that, well, like you mentioned, Salty, they can capitalize off of it, they can profit off of it, and they can take a round win for themselves. Speaking of round wins, let's see which team wins round number 1 as we commence the pistol round.
Yeah, Raw Fuel just basically walking inside, caring about nobody. He actually finds himself deep into enemy territory. RVK, the rest of Enigma, they actually get the entire side taken over. But interesting setup from Bleed actually, as they're not competing for it. Raw Fuel is gonna succumb to death. The pistol's really doing the work. Bleeds, Chrysania as well as Lexi, they string together 3 kills all by themselves. And Antidote, it's just pulling in Astra Stars. Meanwhile, he takes it, he tanks in a few bullets. Gets 1 kill for himself. Rexy finds 1 more. Here he comes. The right click doesn't really do a lot of damage in this one. 2v1 right now. Antidote needs to isolate the kills. The spike is being diffused. The right click doing a lot of heavy lifting. The spike has been diffused. Even though Antidote finds the 4K for himself. The job has been done. Chrysania, mission accomplished for him as he diffuses the spike comfortably, even before Antidote just steps near him.
Yeah, this one was another roller coaster. Enigma early on, they weren't looking the best, but slowly but surely, they managed to etch back a few of the kills that they had lost, a few of the casualties that they had lost, and it was a 1v2 right down to the wire. Antidote, yes, he did get the 4K, but at the cost of his team losing. So Enigma right now not going for a full eco. They can still afford a few upgraded pistols here and there. Sheriffs can be seen on majority of the members alongside a ghost. So that's nice. Enigma can still look for a few frags as Ben looks to take that engagement, misses his shots and falls back. Doesn't want to take any more risk because Lexi has taken his position, and it's going to be Chrysania who gets the opening kill of the round on the other side of the map on towards mid. As we were talking about, Chrysania as a Sage gets a double. Yes, Enigma only have upgraded pistols compared to the Spectres and armor that Chris had for himself. But yeah, this means that yet again, not a lot of map control that has been taken. RVK is right there with a spike down at the bottom of mid. He has been spotted by Ben, and it looks like that putting more pressure from the side of Enigma is going to be utterly difficult, considering that Hika also falls to the ground.
Yeah, all these players, they're gonna pop in from mid as well, funnel in from one direction. Frosty's trying to go aggressive. RVK, the only player who's surviving, trying to go for a dancing kill. You don't do that. You don't do that against RVK. The gravity well came through. RVK was completely helpless over there. Chrysania finally finds a frag. At least didn't really allow Frosties to actually go for that disrespect knife kill. But on the back of it, Team Bleed Esports, they make it 2-0 against Enigma Gaming. Enigma, though, need to reply in kind. If they lose this buy round for themselves, I'm pretty sure it can be problematic, because then you're basically battling the villain that we addressed right before the start of the game, the momentum, the economy that you are going to be facing. Bleed Esports need to be really careful. They are on a bonus round right now. They're all Spectres and Sheriffs, and most of them, they're actually pushing up mid, even though they won't really find anybody. Antidote finds one, delivers him, dispatches him back to spawn. His team Bleed Esports, they fall back. They've got the site completely taken over.
The spike is dropped. The spike is in attacker spawn. What exactly are Enigma just going for kills right now? Well, they have gotten a few kills. That is nice. But now the spike retrieval comes as Jarpix is all alone in the bomb site. He gets one. He can isolate another gunfight because there's no one to support Raw Fuel as he backs off into garage. But look at Lexi also pressurizing. Raw Fuel wins this duel. And I think Enigma will win this round. But why was the spike still in attacker spawn? No one picked it up. And yeah, sure, they managed to win the round, but this could have gone horribly wrong, considering this was the full buy that Enigma and the round win that Enigma were looking for.
Oh no, Lexi just adds on to that pressure. 3 kills already and a very successful bonus round coming in from Bleed, to be honest. They've got to reinvest heavily in the next one, but thankfully they did get this spike down, so they're going to get some spare cash to work with as well. But yeah, just like you mentioned, this could have gone horribly wrong, and I'm not really sure if Enigma are going to take this with open arms as well. This was their buy round against SMGs. They could have, or they should have, in fact, kept it more cleaner than they could exactly, but I mean, that's basically the errors, that's basically the unforced errors that we were talking about, and for sure Bleed Esports capitalized on it because the aggression was fast. It was kind of a little sketchy, and that's one of the reasons why they got a few kills.
That is true. They got a lot of kills and they dealt economic damage, like plenty of economic damage to Enigma's side. And yet again, a small technical pause has been taken, but heading into round number 4, that's going to be a major element that Enigma, their economy, their buy is going to be a more like a semi full buy. It's not going to be a full buy at all. We can surely expect half armor. We can expect a few SMGs here and there and things like that. Even on the side of utility, not even talking about guns. Even considering utility, Enigma may be falling a bit short. And considering that Bleed, they lost the round, but it was a bonus one. They can also be looking fine as well. Looks like the issue has been resolved and we can jump back into the game. So this was a very small issue, nothing to be worried about. And let's commence round number 4 back up and running. We can see the op. So we were talking about the economy, we were talking about the guns, and well, this is the mighty operator that Ben has in his hands and that he may be looking to cause a lot of chaos with.
Yeah. True that in mid though. There is no presence. Antidote, if he actually peeks out, it can be problematic, but he has deployed stars very strategically, so not really sure what comes in. They've got a little bit of presence towards B garages. They've got a little bit of presence towards A main, while most of Bleed Esports, they're focused up mid. You can see that they're set up for a trade game happening in mid. Meanwhile, there's just one Astra, Yorpix, trying to hold down the entire aggression. All these players trying to funnel in from the B main region as well. Benya, first success. Antidote, that is down already. No controllers, no smokes for you. Of course, they've got the Viper up and running, but Rexy actually pulls one back. Even RVK falls down as well. Yorpix doing so much heavy lifting. He spots Raw Fuel. He's going to delete him back to death as well. Frosties in the enemy territory, it's just waiting for Rexy to pop out. The remainder of the players, they are caught out in the A side right now. The only thing that they can possibly do is save their weapons because the spike is miles away from them. Perfect execution of the frags, I must say. I mean, most of their resources were dumped in to try and stop that mid-aggression from coming in. Benyav gets 1 kill, but Yarpix did so much heavy lifting over there. Frosties finds Hika, not really allowing them a little bit of space to work with Rexy. An amazing effort to try and retrieve the spike. Can he go in and plant though? That is a question. He can work for kills. He can work for exit frags. And as he does so, he gets a triple for himself. The AWP has been dropped. 2 players right now surviving. If he clutches this out, this is going to be crazy. 12 seconds, 11 seconds on the clock. Yarpix ready for Rexy to wide swing. And just slaps him to death. Yarpix, the MVP of that round for sure. Single-handedly holding down the B main territory. Taking down Rofil as well as RVK. All by himself.
Yeah, Rexy wasn't the only one who got a triple kill that round. Yarpix put in a lot of work all by himself in order to secure the win for his team. But this operator right here, Ben, yeah, that was a little too eager. Just on the sage wall, completely out in the open, whereas Rexy had the cover of the wooden barriers to his side, to his aid. But nevertheless, the op is back. We can expect it yet again. Enigma, they've got the cheap op, they've got the Marshall, but it can deal just as much damage if your shots hit correctly, if they hit on the head. And I'm sure that all 10 of these players can certainly hit their shots. The thing being that right now, the other guns are completely different to what Bleed have to offer. They've got rifles, phantoms, vandals, full armor. Meanwhile, Enigma, they just have upgraded pistols and sheriffs. And yet again, we are seeing that in this eco, Enigma so far haven't managed to get a single kill for themselves. This is going to be their goal, to drop one gun and try and save a single rifle. But Frosty, he picks up 2 more towards mid, and the final member is also there. Antidote pushing with the classic. He gets 1, but yet again the operator will be retrieved without any troubles for the side of Bleed.
Well, we have a similar storyline. It's Bleed who are actually rolling out of competition, at least looks like it. But Team Enigma, they've got to put an end to this. Otherwise, it's gonna be too late for comfort for them. If the difference in the first half CCV gets too high, I'm pretty sure Enigma just can't deal with that pressure. And Bleed knows exactly what to do. They need to pile on that pressure. And they've been doing it so far and so forth. And I'm pretty sure they will do it successfully next time as well. But this time, I can see that all 5 players, they're actually huddled up outside the B garage territory. Rofil might try to make an aggressive entry. The smoke is down as well. It's going to be a little difficult. Viper, as well as Astra Utility, tanking all in. But Rofil is just holding this corner once again. Antidote finds the first frag. Benya couldn't really do much over there. Rexy turns around, takes down Chrysania. Wonderful stuff right there. Reina flashes in. Frosty and Yarpix, they come together. Yarpix has been taken down as well. And right now the lockdown can do a lot. But Enigma, Rofil as well as Antidote just doing so much heavy lifting over there. 4-2 the scoreline. And of course, they've absolutely decimated the likes of Bleed Esports. A push which was really off proportions to actually to defend, honestly, over there.
Yeah, what happened right there? Bleed, it was their chance and they could have really capitalized off that. Enigma was just pushing into the bomb site, but they were pushing with good reason and with good results. They got a lot of the kills, and right now, yet again, for the side of kills, it's still very early to call, only been 6 rounds, but we can see on Enigma's side that anti-Rexy and Rofil, they are pulling almost all of the work in terms of the frags that they are doing. You know, Hika, RVK, they still have work to do, just not having the best of maps. In the previous map, everyone on Enigma had consistent performances. Yes, obviously you had Rofil, 20 plus kills, the MVP of the entire map overall, speaking of individual performance, but the other members of the team were in a similar database, in a similar set. Right now, there's a big difference. You know, sitting on 0 kills, they've got to start putting in work by themselves as well before it is too late, because Bleed can realize that only a few of the members of Enigma are getting the kills, and from that point forward, it can be easy pickings. So Enigma have got to go back into the form that they were on Ascent, especially half number 1 on Ascent, as right now we are just seeing a dance of 2 dragons just moving away to and fro from the walls, revealing a bit of themselves to try and lurk the opponents, to try and lure their opponents into overpeaking, but neither Astra nor Cypher were taking the bait, and it's only 30 seconds remaining and still no casualties, still no execution on site from Enigma.
Smoke comes up as all these players they start funneling into the vent room. Frosty's ready, gets the first one, might actually get the second one as well. Perfect for him. He actually gets away with it. Antidote couldn't really do anything much over there, but finally he finds the frag on Frosty's. But the time has actually run down way too much. Benya finds RVK. The spike is still struggling. It's nowhere near. And with 5 seconds remaining, I'm pretty sure Rexy has to fall back with 5 HP. what a shutdown it has been. Like, Team Enigma tried really hard to try and be pressing forward in that mid region as well, but probably mid aggression isn't really their strength. We didn't really see it much in the map of Ascent as well, and this time as well, they try and utilize it. They get completely dwarfed in mid by the operator, by the Vandals, by the Phantoms, whatever that Bleed has to offer.
And now, yet again, Bleed have a lot to offer. Ultimates can be a big factor. We have to see ultimates getting into the play. You know, with the exception of three members, Frosty, Lexi, and Rexy on the side of Enigma, everyone has their ult ready unlocked to utilize and to use. And I think Enigma have got to use them. We can already see the Blade Storm on Raw Fuel right here. He has to pick up kills. Every Jetman knows this, and Raw Fuel is a master at doing that. I'm also talking about all sorts of other supportive utilities such as the Cosmic Divide available on both the teams, the Seekers, the Resurrection. That can be big for Bleed because everyone is getting for kills. Chrysania can revive basically any person to his liking, but now it's going to be the Blade Storm yet again up and running. Frosty has spotted that and he falls back. It's going to be the Sage getting the opening kill. Frosty still peeking the angle, and yes, Raw Fuel gets the opening kill for his team. He has to follow through. He spots the Sage. Jarpix is also there. There come the Seekers. Enigma are ready to execute, but the members are being shut down constantly. That is the top fragger gone. Chrysania looking for one more. Yes, he finds Heka, and Enigma are down to 2.
Antidote just find Lexi, but that's basically it. Banya finds a trade. One player surviving. It's going to be Rexy. As soon as the smoke dissipates, there's a bullet right in his brain. Chrysania that shuts him down. 6-2 the scoreline, and once again, Bleed the reply back in kind. Regaining that lost momentum, regaining that lost difference. They're trailing by 4 rounds right now, Enigma, and it's not going to be easy. It's not easy to trail right at the start of the game, and especially in the map of Split, they're not going to be offered a lot of chances. It's really difficult, CCV, to win on your thrifty rounds, on your eco rounds. And if they can possibly make it, they can break that change. They can break that cycle of trap. The Bleed Esports has set in right for them. Once again, a similar setup. 2 players in the A side. The spike, though, is this time in Sewers. 3 players towards B Garage. Trying to separate the defense, trying to split them apart. But Antidote is actually pushed up deep in mid. Frosties is waiting for the players to come in, pop in from that A main territory as well. Meanwhile, another region, Antidote has been shut down. Chrysania, I mean, no surprises there. It's supposedly an equal round. Rawfield with the only buy that I can see of sorts. It's
yet again, yeah. It is. Look, with this round win, Bleed Esports at the very least secure a 7-5 half for them. And I get it's their defense, and I get on Split, you know, again, statistically teams are preferred on defense, but still Bleed are looking like another level right now. Heka finally gets the kill he wanted, and he can pick up the rifle. This can be big. He can attempt to save the rifle, or he can go for more frags if you would like. Raw Fuel with the Spectre. He wants to dash into the bomb site. And Yarpix, we have seen him play this angle so many times, but in this case, he won't be playing for long in this round as he falls to the ground. Chrysania, though, always him. He got the initial kill. He gets one more. He dispatched a member before. He gets rid of RVK right now. He'll be up against Raw Fuel in a matter of seconds as he's still in heaven waiting for his teammates. But there's one player from Enigma on mid. Now, does that player spot him? Well, Lexi takes his kill, and before you know it, back again, it's all down to RVK. Oh, sorry, it's all down to Rexy by himself. Stuck in a 1 versus 3. A bit doable, no armor. He's got the Spectre, but I don't think it's a good scenario. Yeah, he was being cornered off from so many angles. A lot of crossfires to be maintained. And though Enigma take 2 casualties, which is nice in their thrifty semi-eco round, Bleed still get the win in total.
7-2 the scoreline, and it's starting to get a little difficult for Enigma. I might say that this is getting heavy for them because at this point, they've got 3 ultimates. They've got their first buy round, their first real, I would say, full buy round after a lot of successive losses. If they don't really manage to get this victory on board, I'm pretty sure that this half is done and dusted. If Team Bleed Esports manage to find an 8th for themselves, even if Team Enigma find their way, claw their way back to 8-4, it can just be a little too difficult for them. Of course, 3 ultimates to work with, an Astral Divide. You've got the Viper Spit as well, and the Neural Theft, 2 of which can be really influential in your attacking side of things. Rexy finds the first one. Benny have a great diversion by the dog. And that's basically it. Here it comes. The Neural Theft can actually facilitate this attack. Rexy trying to push up. He knows exactly that the players are going to fall back, but there is no movement right now. RVK finds Yarpix elsewhere, and they've found the B side completely open. The spike is nowhere near. The raw fuel actually finds Chrysania. It's all these players winning the duels left, right, and center. And suddenly, in Bleed Esports, they kind of look like half the side they were. The Viper Spade, they wouldn't really do much. They haven't retrieved the spike as of yet, and Frosty is just waiting for that opportunity. He knows exactly that the spike isn't here, but Antidote catches him napping, shoots him right in the head. Lexi, though, will come back, but a 1v4 in this situation just looks really, really dire. It doesn't really look very realistic.
Yeah, again, Lexi, he's gotten a lot of kills. He gets one more right now, but still the fact that he has to play against 3 members just like Rexy had to do in the previous round, a bit difficult. Team Ace, that's nice for Enigma. Yet again, you know, consistent performances overall for their side in this round. They get another one on the board, and this can be big, you know, on... Because for the side of Enigma, honestly, their defense is where they can shine. They've got a Sentinel, they've got 2 controllers, they can slow down the attack, cut off the map, both in terms of like the control and everything that Bleed have. But this round, honestly, 5 ultimates for Bleed, all 5 available, Operator, full armor. Even though Enigma still have a full buy, Bleed just have to use their ults, and I think they're ready to use them. So far, none in utilization. Yarpix gets tagged heavily. I'm not entirely heavily, but still to a certain extent, as Raw Fuel is still looking to push up the side of B. He'll be in contact with the player, and he gets the kill before it has been stage walled off. Rexy also finds a kill towards the A side, and Rexy has A control, but the thing is the spike is back up on B, so rotating over the spike to A, that's going to be long, unless Enigma are planning for something different, unless they're trying to go for a fake. But faking on B, that's going to be more difficult with Chrysania reviving Yarpix and getting the kill onto RVK. Things were looking good early on for Enigma, but now the advantage is back up and running with Bleed Esports. You've got Frosty with the Empress right now. He's got the extra bit of health. He can spot enemies easier, and he's just right there, just waiting. Time is running out. He has been flashed. Ben, he's also holding the angle with the Operator. Rexy's in the bomb site. Ben gets the kill, drops the spike, not before Antidote can get one for himself. 40 seconds still on the clock. The Gravity Well is overacting on the members of Enigma, and they still have to position themselves for a post-plant scenario.
Yeah,
30 seconds left.
with 3v2 or practically a 3v1, especially with Antidote being on 30 HP, this can be doable. Enigma did get the 3rd round, but from this point on, Bleed can actually capitalize.
Last player
Repositioning that tripwire. Antidote has been taken down. Rexy will be facing all the pressure, all that he takes on Chrysania. That's 1 player down already, but Yarpix is going to shut him down and defuse the spike. Great headshot, by the way, but with that being said, Bleed Esports, a perfect retake on the back of that perfect round, and they've got to 8 already. Can they make it 9, and can they pile on that pressure and pile on that hurt against Enigma Gaming, or Enigma Gaming are just going to ease a little bit? I feel like Bleed Esports, they've kind of got accustomed to the style of play that Enigma has shown them. The 3-2 split that they're trying to pull off in the A side and the B side simultaneously. They've also started to stretch their legs a little bit in terms of winning rounds. Like, their trade game is so on point that they don't really have to work that hard to try and dismantle this attack completely.
That's the thing, yeah, Bleed have got to make sure. I mean, it's the final round yet again. Bleed have 3 of their ults. The Bladestorm is going to be used by Ben as Yarpix gets the opening kill and the initial frag of the round before he falls back. Rawfuel still trying to push up, but even he loses his life, and almost everyone from Enigma who entered the bomb site.
1 enemy remaining.
As it's going to be a flawless round and a 4K for Yarpix to end the first half. Certainly, I was expecting ultimates, but no, Yarpix was like, just give me my rifle and I'm done. That's it. That's all he needed, and that's all he worked with, and well, that's all she wrote, because the first half ends with a 9-3 scoreline, 6-round lead for Bleed Esports.
Yeah. But this again is sort of defensive heavy, so Enigma can actually come back if the defensive setup is great. Well, Bleed Esports, it's going to be a tough job for them to kind of secure this lead and preserve it. But considering that they've got such a big buffer to work with, I feel like this can be an opportunity for them to close out the game and close out the series. We need to find out and wait and watch for that But right at the bat, we can see that Team Bleed Esports are actually piling up outside the mid area, and once again, a similar tactic. Right off the bat, they try and push up mid. We got to see this in Ascent as well. The flashes won't really stop them. This is a steamrolling engine right now. Rawfuel does get 2. And here's the third. Not really. Chrysania right-clicks him.
Huh?
Takes down Rexy as well. That's important. Chrysania, though, really low himself. Antidote finds Lexi. That's not really good.
Enemy remaining.
Chrysania wouldn't be able to stabilize his RVK. Shuts him down. Only one player surviving. And Yorpix will be shut down. The pistol round, a really important round for Enigma, is they win it. And now there is going to be an opportunity to actually close out the distance. They've got SMGs. They've got some nice weapons to work with. It should be a default 95, but even then the job would just be half done. That's still like a 4-round buffer, and Bleed, they're gonna come back with big weapons.
Exactly. It's not this round that I'm worried about for Enigma. Right now, I mean, everyone knows that it's the anti-eco. Sure, yes, Enigma may have lost 1 or 2 in the past to Bleed, but right now I don't think they'll be losing. It's the next round, because Enigma will be going for their bonus. However, Bleed will attack them with Vandals, Phantoms, full armor, and all sorts of utility. And how prepared are Enigma to deal with that, with the Spectres that they have for themselves? For now, let's focus on the round at hand. Bleed are still right there on the edge of the bomb side. The spike is dropped, so they're just looking for kills right now. They have mid control, and Enigma have given up mid control. Why is that? No one on B Heaven. Hicka is playing very passively on B Heaven, not aggressive at all, trying to take those medium range gunfights, but then again he can take them even if he was being aggressive and looking out for the members on mid. Rawfuel takes the duel, he gets the opening kill. Rexy capitalizes even further and puts more pressure on the attacking side as Ben chooses to peek that corner. He gets 1.
Oh, no.
His teammate Yapix gets the 2nd. Enigma are down to 3 members, but I think they still have it under control, and with Rexy being the only man on B, he just has to hold this push, which I think he'll be able to do.
They've got a retrieved Spectre to work with. RVK, though, is going to put an end to Yorpix, and Lexi will be taken down as well. In spite of retrieving the Spectre, I mean, I kind of thought that when they pick up that Spectre, it's going to be probably like a game changer. They might even win that round, but thankfully it doesn't happen that way. Enigma, though, I'm not really sure if they've got the money to reinvest. I mean, for example, Hika doesn't really have the money to reinvest in the big guns. Probably might have to reinvest into one Spectre yet again. But on the other camp, it's basically guns blazing. It's Vandals, Phantoms, and just like you mentioned, it's all sorts of utility as well. I'm pretty sure Enigma is not well equipped to shut down the aggression that comes in their way in this one. But after that, if Bleed Esports by default make this 10-5, I'm actually worried for Enigma, because that basically is double digits for a team. And if that happens, it's going to be really hard for any team to actually make a comeback. RVK holding down mid once again, but this time, though, in a much more aggressive manner. You can see the 3 players once again from Bleed Esports trying to kind of explore this territory. One player has been pushed back on the back of that snake bite and Poison Cloud, but Rawfuel is in perfect position. Bleed Esports probably know this is going to happen. No, they're going to jump in one by one. Chrysania thankfully finds the trade, but no revival for him. RVK finds Yorpix. That's 2 players down already. 3v4 right now. This is getting crazy. Enigma, can they actually make it work? Chrysania jumps down. Antidote does have the sound cues to work with. Flashes come in. Hika probably sure what's happening. Antidote will be taking down Lexi. Most of Bleed Esports, they've taken over the site, and the plant is going down as well. But can they get back into desired post-plant positioning? The retake is going to be really crucial. They've got some weapons to work with as well, CCV. You can see one Vandal on RVK. Lexi is trying to peek out wide against Rexy, but
Yeah, the retake is so difficult for Enigma.
Turrets destroyed.
Because they just have this corner to work with. They just have to push through. And Rexy can't really push up. It's going to be Lexi getting a double headshot as he peeks wide. And Ben, he secures the round with a final headshot. 2 headshots for him. I would have loved to see that from his perspective. So, just the crosshair transfer and the spray transfer would have been amazing. But yeah, this was a decent enough start for Bleed. For Enigma, it was looking really, really good. Especially with the kill that RVK got. And the man advantage that they had. But as soon as Anti died and side control was taken by the side of Bleed Esports, even though everyone from Bleed was in that one corner, was just in the bomb site, and you know the post plant position wasn't the best, the fact that they had rifles against Spectres, that was exactly what made the difference. And yet again, Enigma, they can go for the full buy. They are going to go for the full buy. They're willing to do that. Operators have been bought, full armor, half armor, everything is on the bank. But if they lose this round, I think it may just be, you know, early enough to call it Bleed Esports. They may run with it. So Enigma, this round is a very influential one. Do or die, quite literally.
Exactly. This is going to be the start of the end. Bleed Esports starting to funnel in. Of course, no information as of yet, but the Cypher Cam is going to spot all these players as soon as they start funneling in. The flash does come through. Rexy has to prepare himself. He's the only form of defense, and right now he's being overwhelmed. No duel as of yet. Nobody taking early contact. The flash goes through as well. RVK trying to push out wide, coming back in from Rams, but by the time that happens, they've already got themselves a sight, and the plant is going down. Rawfield missing that very first shot, very unlikely of his character, but that's fine, I guess. Players are in position already. It's going to be a very, very important retake. Lexi, in spite of that gravity well, in spite of that poison, in spite of the snake bite, he still finds two of his own. He has done his job already, and the rest of the players are just waiting to capitalize on that play that just happened. Beniaf trying to look out for elbow. A nice sage wall that has been put up to try and funnel him from one single position. RBK finds the first frag. Frosty and Chrysania come back to find two of their own. Antidote, he wouldn't be... Yet he does find to actually get away from it. Wait, what was that? What was that? Throwing weapons right in front of your face. Antidote actually punishes them for it. 1v2, but Bleed Esports, they have the round for themselves. And in spite of Chrysania dying, I'm pretty sure he's got enough money to reinvest in the next round. But what about Team Enigma?
Yeah,
they spent in their investments. They broke the bank basically to try and get themselves in line with the competition, to try and keep themselves alive in the game. You mentioned it, CCV. It's a do or die, and possibly Enigma, it's probably going to be the start of the end. We've talked about momentum. We've talked about economy, how difficult it is when it is not on your side. Enigma, they're just facing the wrath of it.
Yeah, looking at the buy that they have, Sheriff's one Vandal full armor, that's it. They've got to play with their ults. Raw Fuel though. His ult can deal a lot of damage, and that is exactly what everyone from Enigma will be relying on, and every Enigma fan will be relying on as well. Ben, he was the first casualty, and he gets one more. He gets rid of Ben yet again before he dies. But Chrysania, he revived someone. He brought back life, but he took one with him. So towards the end, it's still been neutralized. 4 versus 4. Hika is going to be the first rotation with the Sheriff to come back into the bomb site. The rifle on Enigma has been lost, and they cannot retrieve it. The rifle which Anti had is gone. It's all down to Rawfuel's Blade Storms. Otherwise, well, it's a Sheriff season, and I don't think that'll be as good when you're up against Vandals and Phantoms. Enigma now in the post run, still looking to find kills. Rawfuel spots one, has got a single blade, singular being the major word here. He jumps up, uses the updraft. Can he land a headshot? Unfortunately, he can't. He's back on the classic. Jarpix gets one. He gets the second. Jarpix on the B bomb side is absolutely insane. That was his third. And this was the 12th that Bleed were looking for. Match point, best of 3 point, and a quarter final point. If they win one more round, they'll be facing off against the winners of Alter Ego against Global in the semi-finals of the upper brackets. Bleed are literally on the edge of victory right here.
Yep, Enigma Gaming though, the stakes are going to be so high for them right now. Because, of course, 12-5 is definitely not a favorable scoreline. They need a momentous comeback to even stay alive in this best-of-3 series. And speaking of best-of-3 series, if they lose this one, they are going to go down the trenches of hell as they move towards the lower brackets. Nobody really loves to be there, CCV, but I'm pretty sure if Enigma actually find their way back from the lower brackets, we would give them legendary status, because I absolutely love the lower brackets and the stakes that it has. This time, talking about this round, Bleed Esports, they're slowly starting to funnel in. That's probably not the best side that Hika had to offer, but Rawfuel is going to find a frag, and he's going to get away with it. Antidote is in vent room. He can actually be the perfect backstab. Takes down Astra, takes down Benaf as well. The spike is down, and this is a 2v4 situation, a really favorable one for Team Enigma. Unless, of course, Lexi does have other plans. Frosty takes him, be taken down. A triple kill for Antidote, but right now, it's too tough of a job for Lexi. He probably knows where RVK is, but RVK is gonna find a bullet at the back of his brain. 12-6 right now, and that's basically it. Team Enigma, they live to fight another day. They're still alive in this competition, but for how long? That is going to be the pertaining question.
Oh, this is a nice spot.
now Enigma have reached a point where something like economy doesn't even matter, because what's an eco round? Every single round is do or die. You can't save for the next round. There isn't going to be a next round unless you push it into overtime. So every single round, Enigma can use any sort of credits they have, and that means that yes, they can always opt for a full buy rifles, but not always will they have the best of buys if they keep on winning individually. Sometimes half armor, sometimes a Spectre, maybe a Bulldog, something like that. Right now, they've got the op. Raw Fuel, he's got to fall back even more inside, deeper into the bomb side, as Enigma are still dealing with the pressure nicely. More so, Raw Fuel was dealing with the pressure before he's down in the dust. Lexi gets another kill, and we're back on equal terms, but Bleed Esports now, they are looking better. That's another headshot. Enigma are down in terms of numbers. The Killjoy lockdown is also going to be utilized. Hikam is right here at the circumference of that lockdown, right at the edge.
No.
He kills Jarpix. This can be big, but time is running out for Enigma.
For sure, two players just tucked in this elbow region. The operator doesn't really do a lot of favorable stuff. Fika overwhelming them with utilities. Antidote might actually find one player snapping. Benyaf takes on Hika. It's a 1v1 situation. Blade Storm not really doing much. Antidote finds a frag. What a comeback it has been for Enigma. Once again, they stay alive in the competition. Oh my word, Hika. He just did so much heavy lifting right there. The Seekers, the Flashes, completely dismantled the post-on positioning. So I'm not a big fan of what Bleed did over there. I mean, two players playing down. I mean, I understand that they were going for a trade play, but two players tucked in that small elbow corner, it's never really the best idea. And as soon as the Flashes came through and the Seekers came through, all of them got affected by it, and both the players could find easy kills.
This was a very expensive round. Expensive in terms of ultimates. I mean, look, there's only a single ultimate on board compared to what happened in the previous round. Previous round, we saw Bladestorm, Seekers, Killjoy, Lockdowns. You name it, it was utilized by both of the teams. And now it's Bleed who are economically in a worse condition. Rexy, he finds 3 headshots back to back. I get that it's an eco round, but 3 headshots in a matter of 3 seconds. That is great for anyone, but it's light work for Rexy as he's looking for his 4th and potentially the final kill. But it's going to be RVK, his teammate, who secures the frag. All headshot round. There should be, you know how there's the team ace, there's the flawless. There should be an all headshot round, because this was one of them. It was really nice to hear, really nice to see. But other than that, very quick round done and dusted. Enigma are on the right path to go for an overtime, to push this into OT. But the thing is, they may be on the right path, but the journey they are embarking on is still a pretty staggering one. Now more than ever, considering that Bleed Esports are back up and running with full armor and rifles. It only takes a few kills here and there to completely dismantle what a defense is planning in terms of their strategy.
Rawfield peeks out wide, but Benyaf shuts him down. A really important kill right off the bat for Bleed Esports, and this might just be the kill that they needed to convert, or rather close out this game. It has been a fabulous match so far, but Lexi stuck in this corner. He's going to spot RBK first. He's going to take him down as well. The alarm bot has been positioned as well. Rexy, is he going to risk it? He doesn't. Sense of discipline, but Lexi is still in a nice corner right now. It's funny how it's Lexi versus Rexy, and Lexi's going to win the duel, but 2 players versus 5 team Enigma just giving into the pressure. Antidote tasked with a 1v4, the captain of the team. Can he actually make it work? Not really. Being overwhelmed with numbers over there. Chrysania finds the frag, but Hika actually makes it work. And as soon as I saved, Yarpix trades him, and that's basically it, ladies and gentlemen. Bleed Esports, a wonderful 2-0 victory. Sort of well fought. I see a very good fight coming in from Enigma Gaming, but that's about it. Bleed Esports completed this hurdle, I might say, in this tournament with no real sufferings. This journey of theirs is going to stay clean, and right now, just like you mentioned, they move in the upper trenches of the upper brackets. Meanwhile, Enigma, they go down hell, they go down to the lower brackets, and I'm not really sure if they're going to survive a very healthy life over there, but I'm pretty sure with toughness comes it basically makes you a legend. Yeah, whatever term I was trying to pull off over there, it just doesn't work out, basically, ladies and gentlemen. Bleed Esports versus Enigma wraps up 2-0. That's it.
This to me felt more like, you know how yesterday we saw Enigma up against Exili, and Exili was so close to winning both on Haven and on Fracture, but they just couldn't. Yeah, Enigma was Exili today, and Bleed Esports was the Enigma
Yeah.
that we saw yesterday. This
Yep.
completely felt like that. But again, just like Exili, Enigma, yes, they are in the lower brackets, but doesn't mean that they don't have the caliber to fight their way through. Every single team that has been invited to the showdown by the esports club has the caliber. That is why they have been invited. They are representing in many instances their country, their entire region, whether it be Singapore, Indonesia, or even in the Indian subcontinent, you know,
Yeah.
whether it be Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, etc., etc. And from India, we've got multiple teams, one of which was Enigma right now, who go down below into the lower brackets. They'll be fighting off teams which will be fighting more. Again, still a lot to be found out, still a lot of certainty who exactly will their opponents be and all that. So Enigma right now, they can take a breather. At the moment, they don't have to focus on their opponents. You know how yesterday after winning against Exili, they must have been like, okay, our next opponents, they're going to be Bleed Esports from Singapore. You know, let's do our homework on them today. At the moment, Enigma don't have to do that. First of all, for the next few hours, just take a rest, everyone's together, mentally recoup from all of the pressure, mentally recoup from the loss, and just get to a neutral mindset, and then start building on all of the mistakes that were made, both on Ascent and on Split,
Yeah.
whether it was individual performances or overall team performance as a cohesive unit. Enigma have to do their due
Yep.
diligence, and they've got to make sure that everyone is on the same page for the next fight they take, both in showdown and any other match they play.
True, that absolutely true. But then again, you've got to realize if was it just an individual error that was committed, or probably the entire map pick was sort of sketchy for them. You look at Ascent, which was picked up by Bleed, and Ascent was probably Enigma's best bet. It was their best friend, and it was one map where they should have actually got themselves. Would have loved to seen them through, but it didn't really happen. And Bleed Esports just got that victory for themselves. And Split wasn't really supposed to go their way, statistically speaking. You spoke about one such occurrence where they beat VLT, but it doesn't really happen every day, and you can't really bank too much on it, right? Victories on your away turfs on maps where you're not really strong enough do happen, but that doesn't really mean that your weak map has suddenly turned into one of your strongest. They could have actually gone for Icebox instead, where they're decently good, but
Fine.
Icebox was actually left for deciders.
Fine would have been a great pick. Enigma, it's one of
Mine
their most
exactly,
played maps.
but I
Yeah,
guess
that's the
mine was
thing.
actually banned. But
I
but I
think
think mine.
Fracture and Breeze were banned.
Okay,
I'm not
maybe,
completely sure.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, but ladies and
But
gentlemen, we're actually
nevertheless,
going to move on to the highlights itself and see what actually went down. I mean, I feel like it's probably going to be like bleed highlights because most of the rounds were won by them, but we got to see some outstanding stuff from Enigma as well. Couldn't really rack on in terms of a lot of rounds, but for sure, the ones they did win, it actually went down the wire. Few rounds, 1v1, absolute impeccable gunfights, but Bleed Esports just didn't really give them that room to work with. Thankfully, one of those occasions where you don't really allow your teammates to go in for a knife kill sometimes gets out of control, man.
uh, but otherwise, yeah, I've got to say that for the side of Bleed, overall stunning performance. You know, their kills, they were really looking on point. Every single one of their members, even Ben. You know, this time, in this case, he was playing the Jet. Early on, yeah, he wasn't having the best of times. He was bottom fragging as a duel, more so as a Jet, compared to, on the contrary, how Raw Fuel was playing. But still, it was a decent performance. From the members of Enigma, yeah, Ascent was a far better performance if you're looking at it frag-wise when compared to Split. Split, it felt like Enigma was more at a severe disadvantage than they were on the map of Ascent. And I don't think Enigma would like to have that later on. I think they'd definitely like to change that up, make sure that all of their players are on equal footing. As right now we can see that, yeah, all of the kills are happening, and this is still where Bleed were just making their lead round after round, round after round. They were making sure that they keep on capitalizing on any free kill that Enigma gives to them. And look at this kill from Frosty, and he got a double right here. Enigma just walked into his crosshairs quite literally, and there was no escape from that.
Yep, true that, absolutely true. A lot of the a lot of the aggression that we got to see from Enigma was sort of one-dimensional, I must say. We got to see some nice fakes. We got to see some usage of mid as well as a territory that they can explore. But to be very honest, I'm pretty sure that Enigma and their mid presence isn't really the strongest. They aren't really the biggest threat for oppositions when it actually comes to mid and battling them there. Most of the time, it has been Bleed who was getting that man advantage established and giving them the advantage, basically. Considering all of that, when you play Spit with having your mid aggression sort of a handicap position, it just does not go your way. And Bleed Esports capitalize beautifully from that position on. But just like you mentioned, I mean, piling up the rounds on Enigma Gaming, piling up the pressure really played a part in this one. We've talked about how economy is really difficult to build up in this map itself, and Enigma Gaming, they kind of suffered a very similar fate. You look at the economy in the next half of this game, you will start to understand that they had to go through like severe economy buys to even get close for a full buy. And once they have a full buy, it's really important to get like dividends paid off from your investments. If you kind of make a gamble going for a full buy and it doesn't work out, it basically means the end of the world for you, and there's no recovery from it. And Team Enigma, it just didn't really work out from them, because Bleed Esports, of course, they had the momentum, they had the mental advantage in terms of winning consecutive rounds, and even if Enigma did come in with full buys, they could counter it easily.
Yeah, it just felt like, again, looking at the kills and like the multiple kills and everything that was happening, it just felt like Bleed were more quicker on the trigger and they could do everything they wanted faster, kind of like all of the AMD processors, thanks to which these highlights are being brought to you. Just absolutely insane speeds regardless of the series that you have, be it AMD Ryzen 5, their 5000 series, even their previous 3000 generations. All of them are still very capable of running your favorite games at high definitions, not to mention Threadripper, but that's for the big boys. But right now, speaking of the big boys, there were many big boy plays right here, a lot of, just completely out of the top plays, kills, and a lot happened in this match overall. But to summarize it, Bleed Esports, yes, they'll be moving away. Yes, they deserve this win because of how they played, and they absolutely need to perform even more the next time we see them. The thing is, Bleed Esports aren't even in a boot camp right now, unlike Enigma. All the Enigma players are together, but Bleed Esports, I think they are currently in their houses and stuff. So one can only imagine. I mean, I'm not all too familiar with the Bleed organization and what their future plans are. But if we can see these players under one roof sitting together and then playing, if they play like this while they're isolated and, just like over the comms and on Discord and TeamSpeak and stuff, I can only imagine what's going to happen once they're, together. But we have to recap over what happened today. Regardless if they were playing in the same room or not, we saw absolute domination, 2-0 win, and the best of 3 goes to Bleed.
Yeah, for sure. 39, 13 to 8 score lines. It looks like they were dominating for sure. They did dominate. It's like one part of the game was competitive, one part of the game was like back and forth. Enigma, Bleed, both of them having their win percentages set. It was like a 50-50, or at max it was like a 40-60. And the other part of the game was absolutely Bleed domination, when they started taking their footsteps, when they started to stretch their legs a little bit, and when they felt comfortable, they completely overwhelmed the competition, the likes of Enigma Gaming, and they just did not give them the room. One thing which I loved about Bleed Esports is their coordination. You talked about these players playing from isolated regions. It does not affect them at all. And considering that this team was so synergized and well coordinated, even after when they are not playing like face to face, it just does not make sense how good and well bounded these players are going to be when they start doing so. And once they do that, I'm pretty sure this team is going to take their gameplay to another level. But for now, though, they definitely were a level above what Enigma had to offer in both the maps of Ascent and Split. Ascent was supposed to be Enigma's home turf, even though it was picked up by Bleed. Ascent is Enigma's best map, but it just did not work their way. It was well fought. It was well fought up to a certain extent, but Bleed Esports, when they started racking up the rounds, they just did not stop and just ran a bulldozer over Enigma Gaming right at the fag end of the game. A similar storyline in the map of Split, of course, where Bleed Esports, they basically were dominant right from the start. Enigma Gaming could pile up a few rounds at the very last moments of the game, but just like you mentioned, the journey which they were embarking on was really, really long. They could get a few rounds. They did get a few rounds. They got 3 rounds when Bleed had already reached match point, but even then it was not really enough. 30-8 a scorecard on the map of Split, and that is basically it, ladies and gentlemen. 2-0 for Bleed Esports against Enigma Gaming. We'll have a look at the brackets and we'll start understanding where these teams are going to go in terms of the tournament in perspective, because Bleed Esports, their first victory in the tournament, they're going to move ahead in the upper brackets. Meanwhile, Enigma Gaming, they did win against Exili yesterday, but right now they're going to find themselves in a similar position as Exili. They are in the lower brackets as well, and Enigma Gaming, they're going to find themselves en route to the lower brackets as well.
Yeah, that's the thing about I mean, focusing on like Enigma right now, obviously it's going to be extremely difficult for them in the lower brackets, fighting through a lot of matches where they don't have a safety net at all. Now that you're in the lower brackets, yeah, there's nothing saving grace for you. Right now, they lost a best of 3. They still have a second chance. Other than that, that's it. It's game over if they lose another one of the BO3s. For the side of Bleed, they have a lot of time on their hands. Their next match in the showdown isn't going to be up until a couple of days, like multiple days after. So they can sit back, they can review some of their own mistakes, they can what review themselves, they can then, do their homework on their opponents, their potential future opponents. That's going to be either Alter Ego or Global Esports, and that's going to be a big one as well. I'm really looking forward to the match. Global back, yes. But other than that, yeah, Bleed can surely take their time, be relaxed overall for their next match, and just make sure that they are covered on all grounds essentially before their next game, and they're just on all fronts prepared to tackle head on any fights that they'll be taking.
Yep, I'm pretty sure that they will try and take this battle head on. Just like you mentioned, Alter Ego versus Global Esports, it's a pretty big game. But either of those opponents are going to be a tough nut to crack against Bleed Esports. So not really sure what matchup we have in hand, but in a matter of seconds, I believe the brackets are going to come on your screen, and that basically is going to start telling the story, where the story progresses in terms of AMD's esports, AMD and esports clubs, the showdown, because this tournament has been created, I would say, has been presented in order for all these teams from different regions to come up and play against each other. It's sort of like meta versus meta slapping each other, and I absolutely love the storyline that comes along with it as well. Enigma Gaming, they're getting the first taste of international competition. They defeated the likes of Exili, but today against Bleed Esports, they just couldn't really cross the line. Speaking of crossing the line, we can see the Bleed Esports, they've crossed the line, and the brackets basically are going to come on your screen real soon. Explains a lot. I believe CCV, Bleed Esports, they move up. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Enigma Gaming find themselves against E25 Lexus. Now, that's going to be an interesting affair. Enigma Gaming should actually find themselves comfortable against that team. But again, anything can possibly happen. But the upper brackets look really dominating. You mentioned Alter Ego, you mentioned Global Esports. None of them are going to be easy competitors against Bleed Esports. Not really sure when this game is going to be, but next half is going to be Louvre versus Velocity Gaming. Even that match is going to be like real close.
Ooh. Yep, VLT in the showdown. We'll get to see them against Singapore's Louvre. Very interesting. I mean, every single matchup is interesting. First of all, I think everyone can accept that fact. Everyone has accepted that fact. As soon as all the teams who will be participating in the showdown were announced, other upper bracket matches as well, Paper Rex versus Exploit. This is one I'm looking for. I saw yesterday Exploit against Lexius, and it was a domination. But now against Paper Rex, arguably one of the best teams from Southeast Asia against one of, if not the best team from Pakistan. That's going to be a good one. But yeah, looking at the brackets, it is very interesting. Lower brackets will feature more and more of gameplay. We are already seeing teams enter the semi-finals of the upper brackets.
Yeah.
So to me, lower brackets are going to be higher pressure, but upper brackets can always feature the best teams which have beaten others and are at the upper echelon of the upper echelon, the cream of the crop. As if you want to talk about the cream of the crop in terms of all sorts of energy drinks and things that can energize you and keep you upgraded all the times, well then, our associate sponsor Red Bull is the name to go. Almost, I mean, everyone knows them, okay? I know 5-year-olds who know about Red Bull and who are aware of that. Not drinking it, no, but aware of that. You
Yeah.
certainly can, you the viewer, and all of us can as well, if we want to have our Valorant ranked sessions, if we want to grind for 3 hours, in the hopes, if we'll reach Radiant, I know for sure I won't, but that's a pain. Never mind. What
Pain.
won't give you pain, what will give you a lot of adrenaline and a lot of energy is definitely going to be Red Bull. So make sure that as soon as the QR code comes up right below here, you scan it and you get it delivered to your doorstep.
Absolutely. And speaking of doorstep delivery, you also probably want some great processors delivered to you as well. And AMD got you covered. They've got their desktop process, which is like with the Ryzen 7 and the Ryzen 5 series. I've got myself a Ryzen 5, which does all my casting duties and gets all my gaming needs done, as well as streaming as well. So Ryzen 5, pretty darn fast and powerful. But then you can only imagine what the Ryzen 7s can do. You can practically do anything. I'm possibly sure that you probably don't need those overkill Ryzen 9s, or just like you mentioned, CCV, the Threadrippers, which are probably for the big boys. But that is basically it, ladies and gentlemen. You've been watching AMD Presents the Esports Club Showdown, powered by Red Bull. We're going to see you in a matter of few hours, I guess in a matter of like 1 hour, when the next game goes live. But till then, take a break, take a chill pill, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.